Yo, 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 what up? It's a Fast Life motherfucking podcast coming at you. Jace is kind of drunk.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
Hey.
Jace is going out of town tomorrow, or tonight, I guess.
Tonight, yeah. Fucking, what time is it? It's 5:56, Thursday, March 8th. Yeah, so I'm leaving
to Daytona
at 3 a.m. So I
got your little buzz going on right now, trying to celebrate.
Yeah, I feel like the first
it's
time
like tradition, right?
It is tradition.
Yeah.
Every time we go out of town, I'm gonna try to sound sober. So every time we go out of town, we you get so excited to go that it gets hard to fall asleep. And the reason we like to leave so early in the morning is because we're smack dab in the middle of the country, and so basically everywhere we go is always 1,000 miles plus in every direction.
So there ain't any kind of cool shit to see before you go.
Yeah, so you want to try to get out and cover as much ground the first day and try to get as far away as you can. And so when you leave about 2, 3, worst case 4 a.m., depending on how much drinking we do, then it gives you that extra. You wake up even though you don't have a lot of sleep, and you have a lot of energy, and you're excited to go, and you can cover a lot of ground in the night. And then it makes it easier to get to a destination. It's a long story.
So when the sun comes up, you're in somewhere that's actually worth looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the drinking just kind of helps calm the nerves and kind of relax you so that it's easier to fall asleep, or you fall asleep because you're too fucking drunk to operate anymore.
Yeah. Or you're like me and you wake up and you feel like shit.
I mean, yes, you will wake up and you will feel like, fuck, why did I do that? But it also makes the trip funner. It makes it more challenging. It makes it more, when you're celebrating the idea of going on a big bike trip tomorrow and you're with your buddies that you're going to do it, or just your homies in general, it's a celebration. Like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. I'm so ready, blah, 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 let's do it. And then, you're just having a good time. It's like the pre-celebration. You know what I mean? It's like a baby shower for the bike trip.
So it's pre-cum.
That's all you can come up with. Yeah. Not like it's a fucking baby bike shower or bike shower or something.
You know me. It's always going to be sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah. But pretty excited to
not see me for a week.
Yeah. I'm sick of your shit.
Dude, I want to fire you every day I wake up. I walk in and there's dust on the floor, and I'm like, fuck, if you weren't my brother, you'd be out of this bitch.
Dust on the floor.
Yeah, so we're gonna be down in Daytona. I have 2 people lined up to record podcasts with, and now you gotta understand that I'm going alone. I'm going with my boy Jetty, but Jesse's not gonna be here, so our SoundCloud rap studio is not gonna be.
Your professionalism.
Yeah, it's not going to be available. So all the sound quality and all the whatever you want to call that nerd shit is going to be up to me. And so I could fuck this up, bro. So
I'll try to fix it.
For sure, we're going to be talking to my good friend Jeremy. I say good friend, and I can't pronounce his last name.
Didn't you already talk about that?
Senor or something like that. He goes by Lucky Strike Designs on Instagram, and he's probably one of my most favorite painters in the industry.
Oh yeah.
I got like 5 of them, which I won't name them all for the people that aren't on the list that I still like. But I have about 5, and he's definitely in the top 3.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then on the way home, we're going to stop down in New Orleans.
You got to say it all one word. New Orleans.
New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Okay.
That's how they say it down there.
Jesse went there once. He's already a
New Orleans professional.
Dude. Yeah. Probably brought back the clap or something.
Brought back your mom.
Finally, you hit me with a mom joke. It's relevant. Anyway. So we're going to stop through New Orleans and speak with Patrick from Royalty Racing, which I'm pretty excited to because he is a phenomenal welder.
Yeah.
And fabricator and exhaust maker. And I can't wait to talk to him because I want to do that shit, and I want to learn from him like you might learn from him.
Right.
Right?
He's probably got a wealth of knowledge that we didn't even begin to understand.
Yeah, he's super dope. He's probably mad at me because I've copied his exhaust twice on both of my bikes, but had somebody else make it. But I'm gonna make it up. So I'll buy him a beer or something, you know. But hey, sorry, shit happens.
Give him a lefty.
Yeah, or a reach around.
Reach around.
Yeah,
there you go. Those are better.
Yeah, I've never had one of those.
I've never had one.
I feel like it'd be great.
Of all the weird shit I've done, I've not done the most basic weird thing.
Yeah, missionary.
Yeah.
Anyway, this podcast is gonna be brought to you by the dudes at Manic Crew.
As always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not memorized the?
Dude, I totally have.
Can you do?
Can
this?
you not hit the mic?
Can you do this?
Give me the fucking thing.
No, you don't get the notes. I've been saying
our
this shit
boys from fucking Manic Crew. All right, so we are definitely sponsored by them, 100%. Right? Correct? Yes, we all know this. We've been plugging them. We wear their shit often, constantly. He sends us lots of dope shit. I'm actually honestly in love with all of the quality of what they do and provide. So, are they still using the code?
I don't know, but you can try it.
You can try the code at their website.
Fast Life 10.
Yeah, at their website.
Or no, at their website.
Yeah, what's
is
their
manicrew.com.
website?
See, I thought you had this shit memorized.
Nah, man.
Anyway.
But he's cool. He's a cool ass dude, man.
Yeah, he's on it. And
oh, you know what? Speaking of Manic Crew, so you know how we were talking about going to Tokyo or whatever on the Cut Rate podcast? Well, he messaged me, and that's where he's not from Tokyo, but he's from the area.
Japan?
Yeah, out there.
It's not that big.
Well, yeah, he's from in that area or whatever.
It's like Tokyo in the suburbs.
And he told me he came out here and did basically the same thing. And I was like, that's what Cut Rate did?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's fucking badass, dude. I'm super like, I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, get your ass out. I don't need you to sand bikes down.
Go on, get. I do more than that, guys. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, piss me off and sand bikes down. That's all you fucking do.
Leave
You're a piece of shit.
Dust on the floor from Bondo.
Yeah. Our shop is like extra small.
I can fucking sneeze outside and it'll hit him in the face.
And so like in a dream world, we would never do body work inside our shop.
Ever.
You know what I mean? And every day, you know, I walk in the shop after I've been running errands all day, and he's stroking Bondo right in the fucking shop.
Dude, it's like it's either too cold or the sun is blasting on you, and you're just getting burnt the fuck up.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so check out Manic Crew on IG, Manic Crew on.
You just said Instagram. Don't even.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say Instagram. I'm gonna say.
Fucking it up.
Your mom's fucking it up. Fluid.
You guys know where to find them. Absolutely.
Manicrew.com, Manic Crew on IG. Tag them, fuck with them,
buy their stuff.
Also, our dudes over at PaintHuffer.com actually staring at a fucking can of
Paint Huffer,
half a pound of mini silver and Danny D's Select sand dust that I just picked up for some projects we got coming up late May or late March and early May. We're getting fucking bombarded, to be honest with you. It's that time of year. It's like you go through the winter and you're like chilling and doing nothing. You know, you're not doing nothing. At least we weren't. But you know, you were like, fuck, man, like no one's calling right now. And then I guess everybody did their taxes just now, and they're coming through, and it's like fucking, it's insane. You know, which I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it's a good problem to
complaining.
have. Absolutely.
I'm totally complaining because like,
so
you guys could have spread that out a little bit, like. You know, instead of when you like dig out some peanut butter and you throw it on one spot of the bread, basically this one spot of the bread.
Are you using a peanut butter reference right now? Oh.
So right now, this part of the year is one spot of the bread where everybody's trying to get it on. But if we just spread it out a little bit, it'll make it so much nicer and smoother for us for the rest.
I think we're used to it. We always get swamped around this time. It's just to be expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our boys at Paint Huffer.
Oh yeah, Paint Huffer.
Yeah, fucking quality ass fucking flake. Use it on every single fucking paint job that we do. Every single one. So if you want to do some cool shit with your life,
yeah,
you should definitely be spraying Paint Huffer.
You know, I'm eager to try out their pearls and stuff. I want to check that out. I haven't really shot pearls a lot in the last year or so, but Flake has kind of been dominating our paint booth as you know, as the last year or so. But super pumped about all the products they have, man. Like the Flake, all that shit. So Yeah, we use them every day up in this bitch.
Up in this bitch.
Yeah. So check out painthuffer.com. Paint Huffer Metal Flake on IG. If you're gonna order some shit for them, just let them know you heard about it through the podcast, and like I said, it helps us track our reach and our influence, if that's what you would call it.
Our clout.
Our street cred.
Street cred, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, our boy Mark at Texas Performance. Mark came up last week.
Performance.
And he actually went through my FXR, which I'm going to be riding tonight, actually.
Yeah.
He went through it and checked a couple things out, made sure it was dialed in, make sure it was going to last. And I'm telling you this, and if it blows up on the way there, it's not his fault. It's totally
Ironically,
mine.
this podcast is sponsored by Texas Performance MC, and this is also a podcast of Texas Performance MC.
I feel like we shouldn't even give him a shout out on this. Like, you know what? So I'm gonna cut this shout out short. Go TexasPerformanceMC.com. Check him out. If not, whatever.
You're gonna listen to this and you're gonna be like, "Oh, this dude's cool as fuck."
And
what was the joke on this?
What joke?
The big dick pills.
What?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So you guys can on this podcast look forward to hearing the big dick pills joke.
I think it was like me and Mark were real serious. It was a magazine
thing, and I came in fucking bullshitting.
So me and Mark were like super serious, talking about like serious shit, and then Jesse shows up, and then we start talking about dicks. It's pretty much
leave it to Beaver.
Like he just brings dick in the atmosphere.
Oh, Dickinator.
So also, I hope you guys heard about this on the last podcast, but if you haven't, our boy Danger Dan, who also has a podcast, Danger Dan's Talk Shop, which you should be listening to as well as ours if you like fucking motorcycles.
Yeah, to be honest with you. If you're about it.
He has a subscription-based T-shirt company, and basically it's a T-shirt of the month kind of club you get into.
Yeah, MC Shop Tees.
mcshoptees.com.
Yeah.
And basically you subscribe to the situation, and every month they're featuring a different motorcycle shop from across the country with a different T-shirt. So you're going to get a T-shirt, like a postcard, a little information about the shop, and you know why I think that's cool? Because if you are into what I like to do, which is riding across country, or if you're like kind of wanting to step your toes into the fucking pool and see what it's like. The cool thing about like Instagram and even this and all this different types of communication that we have is that all these different shops and in general people across country, if you want to get out and ride, these people become accessible. These people become somebody you have a reason to stop into Salt Lake. You have a reason to stop through Cheyenne, Wyoming, or you have a reason to go to Kansas City to see a shop or see a person or just meet them. And usually these dudes are fucking cool. They're like, hey, you're riding through their city on the way to so-and-so and you want to stop in and hang out. Most of these dudes are going to be more very hospitable, if that's the right word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by doing this T-shirt subscription, you're putting a little bit more just energy into the industry, and it makes all these small shops and all these people that Danger Dan is actually putting on the map, makes it work. It makes it cool. And then if you're fucking on the road and you got one of those shop tees that you got through his subscription and you're stopping through so-and-so.
Somebody recognizes it and shit.
No, if you're just like, hey, man, I just want to check out your shop, man. I got a T-shirt from you or from Danger Dan's mcshoptees.com deal, and I just want to come and check out your actual operation. I like the shirt design. That's a reason. That's more reason than we usually have when we ride a fucking bike across country. Like, we're just like, hey, I just want to see this rock,
Yeah. But it's cool though. It all comes back around. You know what I mean? Like it all stays in the community. It builds it. It helps it. And I think that's something that I feel dumb for never noticing. But like before I was like riding or anything, and I was just around it, I didn't understand it. But as soon as I started like meeting people and riding and doing all this crazy shit, I was like, you know what I'm in love with is the community.
Yeah.
Not so much like, yeah, I love the riding, of course, but it's like without that community, it's like that shit'll get boring.
Yeah,
you know
just
what I mean?
riding to work.
Exactly. So it's like that. I feel like that's such an integral piece of everything that a lot of people don't even realize.
You know what's crazy is like what you're just saying is 100% true. And once you listen to the rest of this podcast and you hear me talking shit about trailers, then that is pretty much the reason. That, you know what, I have a very shitty way of describing how I actually feel.
Terrible.
But I talk a lot of shit about trailers, but it's all in good fun. It's all like it's all relative, because I'd be a hypocrite, which I totally am, if I said I never had to put my bike on a trailer, which I have, and I will in the future. That's not the case. But what I have never been able to effectively verbally get across is that when you ride a bike across country or you ride a bike on a long trip, you're really tapping into what motorcycles are really about.
Yeah.
In my opinion, 100%.
Yeah.
But when you jump on the idea of like it's the journey is really just the destination and not the journey, then I feel like you cut out an integral part of what motorcycling is about, and you might be more reluctant to find interest in other areas of whether you're into fucking jet skis or goddamn four-wheelers or mudding or some shit. Like, you're not gonna tap into this the way that you would, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I'm still I'm losing my my ground here because I don't know how to explain it.
You already explained that you don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, we totally get everything you're trying to say, and I mean that's what we're trying to say is, at the end of the day, for all those people who listen to this and, maybe they ride solo, or they're not really a part of this, like, just take that first step forward. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just get out and do it.
Just fucking meet people and do this shit. And next thing you know, you're fucking, balls deep in motorcycle kingdom.
Friends.
Yeah, exactly.
People everywhere.
And then it's
reasons to go places.
And then it's almost like life changing.
It is 100%.
Riding a bike will change your life.
It will, if you allow it. But if you don't, like, coming into the bike industry and jumping on a trailer is pretty much like wearing a condom. It's still, you're still there and you're getting but it ain't
doesn't count.
Quite the same.
Count. Yeah,
it's not quite the same. So yeah, from now on out, you associate condoms and trailers as the same thing.
You're putting the condom onto nature, and you're not experiencing shit.
Anyway, back to what's really important here is Danger Dan and what he's doing for the scene. If you didn't hear on the last podcast, Danger Dan actually is a fucking, like, real chopper dude, 100%. Yeah. Like, he doesn't have a twin cam.
Yeah,
he's old school as fuck. He does a lot of his podcasts are pretty dope, and he does a lot of different varieties of styles, from phone conversations to on the road podcasts to in person, a lot of different things with a lot of different people. He's got a lot of
different types of people and, like, adventure riders and shit. Like, he inspired.
He got us into adventure riding. Yeah,
he definitely inspired Jace to, like, want to start doing all that kind of shit. So definitely check him out. I know we've been rambling for a solid 20 minutes now, so
check him out. Go to mcshoptees.com. I'm trying to discard my drunk voice. And for $23 a month is what he's kind of running for this t-shirt situation. I don't know how long it's going to take place, but if you use Fast Life at checkout, you'll get $3 off the first month of t-shirts. Don't forget to follow the whole situation on IG, MC Shop Tees, and also follow Danger Dan.
Yeah, it is no different than going into a shop you like and buying one of their t-shirts for $20. Except for this, you get a lot more.
You get to do it in your bathtub or on the shitter,
wherever you may be,
or in the bed while your wife explains her boring ass day to you, or girlfriend or side chick. I don't know. Anyway, so do that shit. Also, don't forget to follow us. If you don't, today on Instagram, I had a dude say he found us through our podcast on Instagram. I'm like, damn, I thought all our listeners on Instagram was from, or all our podcast listeners was from Instagram.
That's fucking awesome.
Awesome?
I meant awesome, but I fucked it up.
So you started a new word?
Awesome.
Awesome sounds way better than whatever you're into, right? So, don't forget to follow us. Check out out all our
Sugar,
shit.
Patreon.
Patreon.com//Fast Life Garage. Donate, something. Your kid.
Your kidney.
Some nudes. I don't know.
Donate some nudes. We run on nudes and beer.
Or $5.
All right, fellas. Texas Performance MC Mark motherfucking Matthews. Check it out.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
Okay, we're on. We have no Jesse right now, so he was on the phone teaching us how to run this thing on our own. But
I'm gonna wing it.
What's up, Mark?
Finally,
my man crush is here.
living the life. Being fucking too busy to do almost anything, it seems like.
Fuck yeah, fucking, what is it, 12 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. What is this? 12:04. Starting the podcast.
Fuck it, it's what we do, man.
Yep. Driving all the way back to Austin tonight, flying out to Phoenix tomorrow.
Yeah. I've done that so many times going to your shop. I mean, last year we'd be like, fuck it, let's go to Mark's. It'd be like 8, 9 o'clock, and then we'd end up back home at 4 in the morning, when we picked up that FXR that time.
I remember. I'd tell you guys all the time, I was like, just crash here. You're like, nah, we'll make it. We'll be good. We'll be good.
And then one of us is like, I remember the last time we all did that, I had to walk from that bridge close to my house all the way home because they didn't want to take me home and then go do the loop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was scary. I've never walked alongside the highway by the house before that way. So
yeah.
So what's been up, man? Like dyno shop's looking like it's doing good. Like,
yeah, just trying to keep growing it. We bought a dyno a couple weeks ago. Still in the process of getting that all installed. Got the electrical figured out. The electrician came, finished up 95% of what needs to be done yesterday, and also put some new lights in the shop, which was incredible.
Yeah, so, you had a few dark areas on.
Oh man, and there's still some dark areas over by the storage shelves, but in the work area, it's night and day difference.
Yeah,
it's just so bright. But yeah, he came and finished up most of the electrical for that dyno, and then now we're waiting on the benches that I ordered to come in to house everything.
Yeah, so you can hold the monitors and the laptop.
Yeah,
and all
so I got
stuff.
a bench for the computer and all the wires that come in, because there's a million different wires and all that stuff. So I got a special, it's actually a reloading bench is the perfect one I found for reloading ammo. But ordered it. It says it takes like 2 weeks to get here. So I'm super bummed about that.
It's fucking 2018, man. And nothing's supposed to take 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah, and it's from Cabela's. I was like hoping I could just drive to Buda, go pick it up in Buda, at Cabela's. But no, not in stock. Only in stock online. So
fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I tried to build some desks. Like I built a little bench in the shop.
Yeah.
And we'll just say my mechanic skills far exceed my woodworking skills.
You're not a carpenter.
Yeah, it's solid and it's good, but if you know woodworking and you look at it, you're like, this looks like crap.
I think the only thing that ever really helped my woodworking out whenever I'd build like benches and tables, like I built all the ones that I have here and at my house, but I think the main thing that changed it was actively using a level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I used the level, but I used the level that I use for mechanics work that's
like
all of 6 inches long. I didn't have like a 3 foot long level or anything.
Yeah, see that's what changed it for me, because I used to build like tables that I'd airbrush on or work on.
Yeah.
And they'd have a slight little slant to it, or because I just like, fuck it, I just need something to work on, so I just throw some shit together.
Well, and the other issue is the concrete floor in the shop's not perfectly flat. So I built this thing with squares and jigs to hold everything square and with a level, and then I put it where I want to, and it rocks because the ground's not square. If I pull it 6 inches away from where I want it, where it sticks out to where I don't want it, it's perfectly flat, solid, great. So it's like, I built the desk, and I still had to shim it with some cardboard.
I'm gonna say, where are the sugar packets when you need it?
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Like, I guess, it's what we should probably do is that way everybody can get to know you, man. Is just talk about like, your path to coming up. What I know a lot about your past, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that transition from when you were going to college for engineering and shit, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess let's start back in high school when you was apprenticing, doing all the things you used to do back then.
So, I've always had an interest in everything mechanical. my family is not super big in mechanical. I didn't come from a background of gearheads.
Yeah.
Both my parents are electrical engineers. They're very very smart people, but they just don't mess with things like that. So always had an interest in it. Went to high school, and my high school didn't offer any sort of vocational classes for either woodworking or auto shop or body shop or any of that. So when career day came, I told them what I wanted to do, and they ended up getting me an internship at what was then South Austin Speed Shop. It was a very short internship. It wasn't a crazy amount of time, but ended up meeting some cool people in the industry. Ended up working on a Mercury for a high-profile bike builder. Ended up buying the shop later on. And then got to meet some people that are big in the industry, like Mercury, Charlie, and stuff back in the day. Excuse me. And then went to college for mechanical engineering because I always had a passion for the mechanical stuff. I thought mechanical engineering was a logical choice. I was killing it in school. I'm in like 3.8 GPA and literally didn't really try. I was partying every weekend, spent most of my time at pool halls, and acing everything. Except for my Spanish classes. And
that was Mississippi, right? Which college?
Mississippi State University, Bulldogs, and had a blast. Did a lot of learning. I bought my first bike out there.
What made you pick Mississippi though? Of all the fucking cool states and cool party areas, like, man, is it like those ones you don't think about? Like, I don't know anybody that's like dreaming of going to Kansas. You know what I mean? But then you go to Kansas and it's like, holy shit, it's a fucking party town, or some shit.
Nah, nothing like that. I was the fourth generation to go there. So
that's cool.
My great-grandparents, my grandparents, and my parents went there, and when I attended, I was the deepest the school had ever been. So I was the fourth generation to go there. The dean of the school was like this creepy old dude who would call me and be like, "Hey, I got basketball tickets. Come sit with me and watch this basketball game." I was like, "Nah, man, you're a little creepy. Like, I don't want to be. I'm fucking 19 years old. I don't want to be sitting
Harry
with your
Weinstein.
80-year-old." Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I bought my first bike then. I grew up, was not allowed to ride motorcycles. I was extremely overweight back in the. I weighed 350 plus. So my dad always told me, "You're too fat. You're too top heavy. You'll fall over on a motorcycle." So didn't own a motorcycle. Ended up saving up some money. Drove 650 miles to go buy my first bike. It was a piece of crap. I want to say 79, if I remember correctly, Yamaha XS 750. So it was the triple cylinder Yamaha, not the desirable 652 cylinder that everybody builds.
Yeah.
Rode that thing literally into the ground until the bottom end seized up because I hadn't learned the basics of like checking your oil level and making sure you got oil in your bike.
It's the way all great mechanic stories start.
Yeah. But, graduated from that bike to a much better bike, a much newer bike, still a metric bike. I wanted a Harley, but I thought they were too expensive at the time, and I didn't know, like I said, I wasn't a mechanic. I didn't have a mechanic to teach me. I knew nothing about Harleys.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you could have a Sportster and it be cool. I knew the stereotypical Sportsters are for girls or for beginners, and I was like, I'm not a beginner rider, blah, 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 and so
you got this bike while you were still in Mississippi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bought this other bike, and then those are the bikes that I ended up going out to Phoenix with. I ended up dropping out of college. I was up at like 2 o'clock in the morning watching TV, and I saw an ad for MMI. I was like, yeah, that's what I want. Those dudes promised me so much. I'm going to make so much money. It looks so cool. Dropped out, called the admissions office, dropped out of college, called the admissions office at MMI, enrolled, and started.
So when you went to Phoenix, it's like, I guess it was just, so when you, I guess the better question is, so when you were still in Mississippi, like, were you just, you obviously did well. It wasn't like you were struggling in school, right?
No.
I don't know what GPAs and shit mean.
So like a 3.8 is, like 4.0 is perfect. That's like 100. 3.8's somewhere like 92.
Like A plus, A.
Yeah, it's like an A. It's good,
Yeah, I'm high school and lower. So.
It's a decent, I could do it, I had... Like I said, both my parents were electrical engineers. They're both very intelligent, and like math and problem solving comes very naturally.
Yeah.
I remember doing like electrical schematic things with my dad at his job at a young age. Nothing crazy, but I just go and he would just show me stuff. You know what I mean? And I would learn it, and so it came naturally. Writing, history, suck at it. Completely suck. I can't write to save my life. I don't know where the comma goes. I don't know what a pronoun is. I got none of that. But you need some, differential linear equations. We're good. At least we were back then. Not anymore.
Now, if my phone doesn't fix it, then I blame it on my phone.
If Google can't tell me the answer now, we're screwed. But if you need to know torque spec, I got that all up there now.
What about so what do you think it was that really just kind of pushed you into motorcycles in general? Like, was it just the desire to be more hands-on than just, I imagine an engineer is more like an architect. They're designing and being the brains, but they're not the construction worker.
Exactly. I mean, that was why I dropped out was, they have these days where people would come in once you hit a certain point in your schooling and they'll tell you, I'm a mechanical engineer and this is what I do all day long. This is my job. And I'd sit there and listen to these guys like, your job sounds like it sucks. You sit behind a computer all day long and you just put numbers in. And that's it. You don't do anything. You don't build anything,
Exactly the
Not
same
that there's
thing.
anything wrong with that stuff, but it just, at the time, it didn't appeal to me. I really wanted to be involved in the doing of something. And I mean, I grew up in the era where, Monster Garage, the Chopper Mania shows with Jesse, all those things were huge. I watched OCC right around this time was right when Sons of Anarchy started to come out. You know what I mean? And all that stuff played
just
a
lot
huge
of
role.
A lot of that shit is what pushed me into the motorcycle thing as well. Like earlier in 2003 with Monster Garage and stuff.
Yeah.
But exactly the same thing for me. It's like, when I was in high school, I had a job at a draftsman as a draftsman for an architectural firm. But, obviously working at not what a degree would get me.
Yeah.
But I was still doing the same job that the guy that went to school for 4 years and was making $35,000 was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here in this class and I just graduated high school, or I'm not even college ain't even yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here doing this job. This guy looks like a pitiful fucking, he's not happy in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he has his office, he does his computer thing, but I'm like, this looks awful. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about this office, the architect, the people that work there, what I'm doing, nothing is given. Like, I don't see any way I can feel like accomplished. Like, I can't get that feeling of creating something and then holding it in my hand after I built it.
Yeah, well, even I mean, there's a giant difference between people. There's kind of two things you got to pick between when you're deciding a career, and one is income and one is passion. Are you going to take something? Excuse me. Are you going to take a job that gives you a higher income that affords you a better lifestyle, but maybe it's not your passion? Or are you going to take something that you're passionate about, that you love what you do, but doesn't afford you the same lifestyle that other job will do? I got plenty of friends that graduated that make infinitely times more money than I do, but they hate their job every day. They go to work and they complain. They can't wait for vacations and weekends, and all they do is bitch about their job.
They're the ones that made the Monday suck memes. And
Exactly. But I sit there and, when I'm at home, all I'm doing is thinking about bikes. And so all I'm doing is thinking about work. My work is my passion. Now, don't get me wrong, there are downsides to working in your passion too. It can definitely wear on you a little bit, but all you got to do is take a step back and look at it and be like, I'm extremely blessed that I can do what I love for a living and make ends meet.
Yeah.
And make it to where I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, or I'm not having to go out and find side work or second jobs and things. I can do it as a full-time job all the time. But
yeah, it's crazy because when I was like 20, 21, 22, it's like the motorcycle thing kind of fell in my lap because I knew I was working in the architecture firm, but I really it's sad to say, but I'm sitting there in the architectural firm, right? Bored out of my mind. The internet is this is 2001, right? So the internet is very premature. There's not a whole lot to do on there.
yeah, you're still AOL dial-up.
Yeah, at this time we were just about to get Napster. Things were starting to get weird, but there was no social media at that time. There's nothing other than a website
Yeah.
and eBay was big at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just fucking bored out of my mind. And then that fucking movie, The Fast and Furious, came out, and I was like, that I grew up in a body shop, in a mechanic shop. I grew up in it, so none of it looked fun. None of it looked inspiring. None of it was like, it was greasy. It was dirty. Like, I was this pretty, not a pretty boy, but I was a clean. Like, I never got my hands dirty when I was a kid. I was forced to work in body shops, but I was never like, I didn't want to be there. I'd rather be out playing basketball. I was big into sports growing up.
Yeah.
And when that movie came out, it made all the shit that I was doing that I hated because it just wasn't glamorous. It looked fun and interesting because it showed me a different perspective of all that shit.
Yeah.
I was used to looking at paint and body as a dirty ass, dusty shop that, has fucking Bondo everywhere and, crazy shit like that. And then now I'm looking at it like, fuck, man, there's this other culture to it that I was never introduced to. So it made me want to take a great opportunity in that architectural firm and leave and go back into the place that I thought I was going to hate the rest of my life and really embrace it and start to, find happiness in a path that I've already kind of put my foot on, or I've already walked on a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you had the benefit of at least knowing the ins and outs of that before you jumped into it. I kind of went into the industry as like this naive. I mean, I was 19 when I dropped out of college. Moved to Phoenix by myself with a trailer with some bikes on it and some stuff out there, and figured it all out. As I went, I had no clue. I was living under the assumption based on these commercials from MMI were true. I was going to make $80,000+ a year when I graduated and get this awesome graduation rate and this awesome job placement rate. And coming to find out, once you start going there, you realize that none of that's real. It's all just BS. As soon as you graduate, if you plan on staying anywhere by the school, you're going to be making dick for money. Yeah. You're going to be doing the washing bikes, part fetching, all that sort of stuff. You're not going to be turning wrenches. But that's just part of the industry out there.
It's still part of paying your dues, basically, to get somewhere.
Well, I mean, there's people that literally graduate from school and move to a state where there's not an MMI, and they instantly go to wrenching. Yeah. But I don't think they I'm not going to say they know as much, but I don't think they appreciate as much being a wrench as someone who had to put in time as a porter, a bike washer, or a parts of service guy before they allowed him to be a tech. I mean, there's pros and cons.
So
to it,
don't a lot of the dealerships kind of bait on the people coming out to find cheap labor? Basically.
Oh yeah, I mean that's you can easily get a huge percentage in raise, like 75-80% raise, moving out of state. When I moved to Texas. 2.5 years ago. I mean, huge pay raise. Just moving to Texas. But, I mean, I also worked for a dealership that didn't send anybody to school. So the whole time I worked there, didn't send anybody to school. So I couldn't prove what I knew how to do according to Harley's system.
You did you did massive amounts of certifications and shit, though, through, like...
I did as many as I could. I mean, as soon as stuff would come online, I'd do all the not the free ones, but all the ones that are online. But there's ones that you have to go to school for. And I got sent to class the entire time I worked for all the dealerships in my entire career. I got sent to class once. Yeah.
It's like they don't want to invest in.
No, they don't. And the thing is like you said, it's they sit there and they look at it. They already had a couple master techs. Yeah. So. And Master Tech, for people listening who don't know, is like the highest level according to Harley's tech system that you can get. And they already had a couple, so they weren't really concerned about getting people to that level is kind of what it felt like. And then they treat you like you're expendable. You want to bitch and complain? Cool, we'll just hire another guy that every 3 weeks there's another 200 guys graduating MMI that they'll gladly give your spot to. They don't want to reinvest in the people they've hired. They just want to... They're concerned about bottom line dollars.
You know what's crazy? Like, I'm going to quote a Joe Rogan podcast I heard about a week ago or so, but and I'm probably going to murder it, by the way. But he was talking to this guy, and they were talking about how, like, for people to really find happiness in their job, they got to feel like they're kind of in control of something, like they have a real responsibility.
Oh yeah.
And you know, when you're in a place where you're constantly feeling like in fear of losing your job, or you know, there's no advancement, there's no ladder to a better place, then you get this like, you know, it's a shitty system, you know.
It feels like a form. I don't want to say a form of slavery, but it feels like you're trapped. You know, you're stuck where you are. There's no room for advancement. No one takes any of your ideas or thoughts seriously. And it's frustrating. I mean, luckily, I was really, really lucky. When I worked for the dealership, I started building their custom bikes for a pinstriper named Mark Brody. Mm-hmm. So he was a part of the dealership, or him and the dealership owner were friends or something. And so I built like 3 bikes for him. They all got into, like, I think American Bagger magazine or something like that. And then I left that shop after I got fed up with the politics at a dealership. It was frustrating. No one listens to your advice. No one takes any ideas that people have. They'll hold meetings and say, "Hey, we want everybody's ideas," and then you toss out an idea, and they're just like, "That's stupid. That's stupid." Yeah. Even if everybody in the back feels one way, the people in the front in the manager's offices feel another way, and their opinion is valued more than the guys actually turning the wrenches. You know, and just things like that. So I ended up,
a lot of the dealerships, like especially the ones around here in Dallas and kind of up 35, have kind of dropped the ball on really connecting with the actual culture. It's like they're only trying to connect with the ones that spend the most money, which are usually the bagger older guys, but they're not prepping the next generation at all to create future.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're all. You can tell when a dealership is owned by someone whose main concern is bottom line dollars. Yeah. You know, obviously, if you own a business, you're in business to make money. If you're not, you're stupid. Yeah. Okay. But there's a giant difference between a business that's owned by someone that's just doing it because it's profitable, and a business that's owned by someone that's doing it because they love motorcycles. Yeah. You know, it's real easy to tell the difference just walking in the door. And,
I agree 100%. Yeah.
The best example I can give is there's this guy named Bob Parsons, multi-billionaire. He used to own GoDaddy.com. Mm-hmm. He bought what at the time was called Hacienda Harley Davidson. It was the crappiest dealership in Phoenix, like lowest customer service ratings, terrible dealership. He single-handedly turned that dealership into one of the best in the nation. I'm not going to say single-handedly because he hired a lot of good people, but his goal was to take that dealership to one of the best in the nation, and he did it because he treated his employees like people. He listened to his employees, took their advice in. He may not have agreed with them on things, but he was always willing to sit down and have a discussion, and he made it a point to talk to people. I had a bunch of friends. I was supposed to go work for him, but I had a record. And I couldn't. They wouldn't hire me. I was uninsurable, according to them. But he treated his people with respect, and he treated his employees like they're people, not a number or an expense. And you can tell that when you walk into a shop. You can walk into a shop and you can tell if the owner treats the people like they're important or people, or if he treats them like they're just an expense and doesn't care. Yeah,
you can tell by the demeanor of the people that work there.
I mean, right away you can tell that your employees are the face of your company to your customers, and if you treat them like crap, they're not going to want. I mean, you might get 1 or 2 that are really good, just can take your crap and be good to customers, but for the most part, you're going to get like grumpy, slouchy people that aren't really good at doing their job. Yeah, or that aren't trying to do their job good because they don't see a benefit in it for them. If you don't show them a benefit, if you do your job really good, you get this.
Well, it's like I just said with the whole Joe Rogan, references that like when all these people feel like there is nothing better to achieve here, they have no real purpose other than, what they're doing to help that bottom line instead of building. And I guess maybe it's the hippie in me. Like I feel like yes, there has to be money for something to be a business and stay open and operate, but you want a place that feels like you said earlier, that really just feels like they're in it because they love motorcycles and they want to be a part and help make the experience of getting on a Harley a fucking memorable thing, and not not just ringing a bell and getting a free T-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely it's something that's easily, anybody can pick up on it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got any time dealing with customer service or people in the customer service industry, you can tell right away. Some people make it enjoyable to work for them and to do your job, and some people make it miserable. When your job's miserable, it translates directly to how your customer experience.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I try really hard to do at my shop now is I try really hard to make the customer experience the best possible within reason. I'm not going to give you something for free. I'm not going to give you a free motor.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make your experience of getting your motor built as enjoyable as possible, even at the expense of my free time or the expense of my...
Or even if it's not what you really was coming in to get. I mean, if they came in to get just maintenance work, and then you found problems that need to be addressed, and
no matter what it is, I try and give everybody the best possible experience. Jace is fighting with my dog right now.
I don't want to play. I'm doing a podcast, bro. I mean.
But yeah, I mean that's the goal. People, no matter what, people have to spend money on their bikes. Bikes don't last forever.
Yeah.
And if you can make it enjoyable on the things they have to do, tires, services, repairs, it makes that process easier for them and more enjoyable when they get to do the things they want to do, like engine upgrades or, suspension or wheels or seats or paint or, the stuff that people are real stoked on. Yeah, exactly. So if you can make the necessities more enjoyable, it makes the luxuries that much better for people. And it makes them want to keep coming back to you. They feel secure. I mean, you got to do things like you have to do good work and you have to be an honest person.
Yeah. Sometimes the hardest part, because obviously I don't know anybody that's in business that wakes up every day and like, I cannot wait to fuck some people over today. I'm
sure there's got to be them.
There's got to be
I
one.
I hear about them a lot.
There's always like, you hear about them a lot, but you always hear, and I'm not trying to be like pro shop, anti-customer, but there's always two sides to a situation.
Oh no, I agree.
Like some customers will come in and I hate, and I'm not trying, I'm just generalizing here, but with this attitude of like Burger King, like it's my way or have it your way or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just completely, like unrealistic to, your time. Like they'll be texting you on Sunday, hey man, I see you're out with your family. What's up with my bike? I get shit like that, and it's like my first immediate response is always like, fuck you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, have some decency, or like, you're on, we all use social media to make money, and it's like, we finish a bike, I'll take 100 pictures of it, and I'll use it to kind of like fulfill my social media in times when I don't have anything to show anybody.
Yeah.
And then first thing, oh man, hey, what's going on with my bike? I see you post the other one. I'm like, dude, we had an agreement to start on your bike in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you're blowing me up. So there's like a lot of different dynamics. And I think a lot of it has to do with like when different personalities clash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of it, has to do with people's ability to set and be open to expectations.
Yeah.
If you set the expectation of A, B, and C, and you don't deliver on it, then they're going to be pissed. But some people, even though you set the expectation of ABC, they want you to DEF also.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to specify. Be like, hey, listen, this is your time frame. This is when your bike's going to get done. I had a patch this winter where I got super swamped all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. I was 2 weeks out, and I told people, hey, I'm sorry you need tires today, but I literally have, I'm a one-man shop. I have 16 bikes in here right now that all are here to get, like, mostly simple stuff done. There's a few big stuff in there, but
you got to go through each bike and with the same the same level of detail.
I'm not going to rush through something just because it's a small job. Yeah. I'm going to give every customer and every customer's bike the time that they both deserve. So I would tell people, like, here's the expectation. I'm guaranteeing you I will touch your bike in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I may get to it sooner if I come to a slow spot or I'm in the middle
Or
of some big jobs that need parts, or I'm waiting on approval or whatever it is, every once in a while you hit a spot like that and you're like, oh man, I got caught up on everything, or I finished all these big things. I can throw a small one in. But it was very clear to set that expectation. Like, this is when your bike will get done. If it gets done before that, awesome. But don't be blowing me up to get it before then, because this is when your bike will be done by.
See, it's probably not the most professional business practice, but I like to handle a lot of my negotiations and a lot of my just general conversation about the details of the project through text messages. And I can't tell you how many times that saved my ass.
Yeah.
Somebody will say that I promised something I didn't, and I scroll up and show them the agree. It's like as you're talking about the job, you're creating a user agreement basically.
Yeah. No, there's definitely pluses and minuses. I suck at that. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't describe the things I need to describe through text messages very well. I'm just not.
Yeah. It is hard, like especially when I'm trying to describe like what we're gonna do paint wise. It is kind of complicated.
But what I do is I take notes on pad. So I have a pad of paper by the phone, and when people call, I'll write down everything. And if I make them a quote or I'm giving them a rough quote off my head, I'll write it down on that piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it's saved my ass a few times where people have called like, yo, this isn't what we talked about. And I'll go through and I have a stack of I don't ever throw them away. I keep all the notes in a separate area. And I'll go through and I'll find like, here's the thing. And I usually write who I'm talking to, what bike it's about.
Yeah.
Whatever needed to be done, getting done. And, it comes in handy, especially because my memory is full of like torque specs and values and different engine things. And so when it comes to like remembering what I told someone, how much something was going to cost, probably should be higher in my priority of memory, but it's really not, At this time, I'm more concerned about some other things. So it saves me a lot when it comes to things like that,
What was so once you got through with MMI and you kind of got slapped with reality, what was it, what was the struggle like going from trying to establish yourself as a mechanic in a sea of mechanics? You know what I mean?
I keep using the same words over and over, and it sucks, but I was really blessed, man. I had some awesome A-techs at the dealership that sat me down, and I think they could see that I had an actual passion. I wasn't just like some retard that come out of MMI like cock strong, like I know everything and I am the greatest mechanic after my 8-month schooling, and so they worked with me really well. We would sit down and anything I had questions on, we would go over, and they would show me shortcuts and tips and tricks and all that sort of stuff. And I was really blessed there. And then when I left, I went to a shop that had a very good reputation for doing really quality work. And did a ton of learning. I went to work for a shop called Bloody Knuckles in Mesa, Arizona, and learned a lot from the techs that were there. Sammy and Jeff taught me immensely more than I can ever repay them for in the short time that I was there. And I was still young, so I got a little big-headed for where I was and what I could do at the time. And so that ended up I didn't get fired, but I left because of it. I thought I was worth more than they thought I was worth.
I went through the same type of phase at one point.
Doing dumb stuff, and it was my fault, and I've since mended the bridges that I thought I had burned. But, went, and that was kind of like a baby step into running a shop. So the dealership, you're just a tech. You just get a bike, you work on it, that's it. And then at Sean's shop, we would... I'd have to talk to customers, which I hadn't had to do up until that point. I hadn't had to order parts and create parts orders, like, oh, this is the bike, this is what I need. Now I need to go find the part numbers and look up and check availability, call these places, all that sort of things. I hadn't done stuff like that before. So, the workload was still divvied out by Sean. But as far as, I was more involved in every aspect. And then once I left there, I went to a shop in Tempe called Live Fast Cycles. And it literally, like 2 days after I started there, the owner and I had known each other for 5+ years. He worked for a short period of time at the dealership when I worked there, and that's where we met each other. And within a couple days of me starting, he handed me all the information to everything. He goes, "Here, man, run the shop. I'm going to Mexico on a vacation. I haven't had a vacation in 5 years since I started this business."
Yeah.
And I owe him, his name's Sheen and Leal, I owe him a ton. He taught me so much about running a business and taking quality or pride in the quality of your work, and how to treat customers, and when you can be stern with customers and when you just need to say, you know what, you're right, and that's a hard thing for me. I'm very, I'm very what I consider logical minded. And so if something's asking for something that's not logical, it upsets me. If it doesn't make sense logically, I don't think we should do it.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot about, sometimes even if it doesn't make sense, if that's what they want, then,
I struggle with that
You've
too.
done your job as communicating what the logical decision is. They're still choosing the illogical decision. And so at that point, it's on them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I learned a ton about running a shop there. It went from probably 2,500 square feet at the first shop at Bloody Knuckles to over 5,000 square foot shop where, a large percentage of the time, it was just me and Sheenan, and that was it. We had a couple of guys that would come in every once in a while and help on metric stuff and things like that. But did a ton of learning there, absolute ton of learning. Like I said, not just learning about mechanics, but learning about how to run a business.
So what do you realistically think is a more smarter approach for following into a mechanical footsteps? Just finding a solid apprenticeship through a shop, or is it still getting schooling? Or
so Mark just graduating MMI will tell you MMI is a waste of money. It's dumb. Don't do it. I learned more in the first 3 months working in a shop than I did the entire time I went to MMI, hands down. But Mark, business owner, looks at it in a different way, because if I had a kid that came in and was like, "Yo, I want an apprenticeship, but I can't prove anything I know," it's hard for me to risk my livelihood on that, especially being a small shop, a small business.
You would definitely have to approach it with a much different approach than obviously an apprenticeship means that you can depend on them to be there every day, just like if they were going to school.
Yeah.
And they're not touching anything.
Yeah.
They're standing over shoulders. And if they're taking it seriously, they're asking questions.
Yeah.
Or they're standing there with a notepad, understanding, well, hey, why did you do it that way? And also, they're running small things for you, I'm not saying it wouldn't be, beneficial if hey, can you go to Harley pick up this part? Those little things. But at the same time, it's also just you got to pay your dues somehow. So I'm teaching you this shit. So you're going to have to pick up the trash.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wash these fucking bikes.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do something. You know?
I'm not opposed to something like that. The problem is I've had people, that last shop I ran in Phoenix, I had a guy came in looking for a job, and we were potentially hiring. We didn't have an ad out or anything, but we were open to the idea of bringing someone else on. And my boss put it on me. He goes, "Talk to the guy. If you think he's good, we'll hire him. If you don't, just kindly pass.
Be done with it." Yeah.
And so I sat down and talked to the guy, and he's like, "I didn't go to MMI, I didn't do any of that, but I've been working on bikes ever since I was 18. I was like, "Okay, cool. What kind of bikes you working on?" "Oh, a lot of knucks and pans and shovels." I was like, "Okay, that's cool. That's not really our thing here, Do you know anything about the newer stuff?" "Oh, yeah, I can totally work on it." I asked him a simple question. I said, "What's a compensator?" And he goes, I asked him, "Where is a compensator?" And he asked me, "What's a compensator?" And I was like, right there, I was like, "All right, cool. Thanks for the application, man, but we're going to have to politely pass." It's one of those things, they graduate. I know it sucks, and I would appreciate it. And I'm not saying I'm against an internship. I would totally be for it. But the nice thing about someone coming out of school is it at least shows a basic knowledge. So if I say, "Hey, go grab me a derby cover gasket," they're not going, "What's a derby cover?"
Yeah, I think that it and I could be wrong in this sense, but an internship is usually something that may or may not have some type of paid deal.
Yeah.
And I think an apprenticeship is more like, no, you're not getting dick. You're getting knowledge.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that, but again, it all comes down to the person. It has to be the right person. If the guy comes in cockstrong and just, I've been working in my garage forever, and just 'cause, a lot of the guys that come in and applied were older than I was, especially back then. I mean, I'm a little bit older now, but not a ton. But back then, I was, running this shop, with very little help as far as the day-to-day operations go.
Yeah.
Not the books, not the bookkeeping and stuff like that, but the day-to-day operations go, and figuring out what bikes to work on and stuff. I was running at a very young age. And so the guys that would come and apply, 30, 40, 50 years old, looking for a job, and instantly, because of how young I was, they thought that they could belittle me or talk down to me or knew more than me or whatever the case was. I don't know what was going through their mind. So that's the big issue. If someone walks in and has an open mind and they're moldable, they're willing to be molded.
Moldables a big key thing.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. If you're moldable, and you're dedicated, you have to be dedicated and moldable.
The crazy concept is that most people are completely unwilling to walk into a shop and work for free to learn, right?
Yeah.
But totally willing to pay a place.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and go in and make no money.
Yeah.
For a piece of paper.
$30,000 for 8 months, and get a piece of paper,
dude.
To make
not even a trophy
to make $8 an hour.
And it's like I'm probably not the person to best say this, because I also know that if you're an apprentice if you're going to get an apprentice, then you honestly almost need some type of form of structure in how you're going to bring this kid up, right? So that's obviously something that you have to be able to provide for them. But at the same time, I get people the same thing with all this shit all the time. It's like, cool, you want to come here? But if you think that it's like, hey, let's skip all the sanding and the sweeping and the grunt work, and I just want to stand and watch you airbrush all day, it's like, look, dude, if you can't do that other shit, you'll never be any good at this.
Yeah.
It's a chain of learning from start to finish. And like I said, man, it's like same thing with painters, dude. We get them all the time.
Yeah.
They go to technical colleges, they go to whatever, and these colleges, they add all these classes because they're popular, because of Monster Garage and all the bike stuff. It's like, hey, let's put an airbrush class in here.
Yeah.
And then let's find a guy to teach it for $30,000 a year, and who does not know how to use it. He knows how to use it, but he's not an accomplished airbrush artist by any means. Like, what the fuck is he going to teach you?
Yeah.
And it's like, any good airbrush artist, what the fuck are they going to accept? Going to teach someone something for less than $80,000, $90,000 a year that they could potentially make if they are legit.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a struggle. You know what I mean, for people in school. Because like you said, you're paying for that certificate, and 9 times out of 10, it's not like even a college degree is almost a similar thing, as far as, you're paying a lot of money and you're really not getting, like you were talking about, there's guys graduated that were doing the same work you were doing at the drafting place, and you were doing the exact same thing, just didn't have a degree. Now they were making a little bit more money.
Yeah.
But you were doing the same thing. Essentially the same process with the motorcycle shop, You can, as long as you're moldable and reliable, you can learn more for less expensive doing some sort of internship or apprenticeship or something.
Yeah.
But the key is you have to do it. And another big thing is you have to be honest. The biggest thing that helped me, and one of the biggest things that helped me in my career, is my bosses didn't. If I made a mistake and I owned up to it, they were mad, but it passed.
Yeah.
I covered whatever damages happened, and then it was done. It wasn't like the rest of the time I worked there,
just deny,
you're under thumb, just, oh, you're a piece of shit, or you did this, or you did that.
Pretty much how I'm with Jesse.
They would, don't get me wrong, it's a shop, so they tease you over it, but it wasn't like, you can tell the difference when someone's seriously pissed at you and when someone's just giving you a hard time because you fucked up, and they understand that people make mistakes. All they ask is that you own your mistakes. Yeah. So you have to have that ability too. There's a lot that goes into trying to take an apprenticeship, especially, like I said, when you're working at a small, independently owned business, because it's not like I own a Harley dealership and I have $10 million in a franchise
Yeah.
and $3 million in inventory in a parts department, I got nothing near that, nowhere near that. So, you damage a tank, a $500 tank, and I got to get it resprayed for $500.
Yeah.
That's considerably different than if you damage a $500 tank at a dealership that's doing $350,000 in service revenue a month. Way different than damaging a tank at a small mom and pop shop. So they would always make me cover. I mean, as long as it was my fault. If it was something I did, if something broke and there was nothing I could do to prevent it, they owned it. They were like, hey, listen, I make the most profit. I own the business. I'll cover it. But if I did it, if I dropped a wrench or I did something or I over-torqued something and stripped it, then it was on me to fix it and it was on me to take care of it. And
that's honestly that's probably one of the things that and I'm not trying to talk about Jesse since he's not here, but basically that's one of the most crazy things is that when you hire somebody, you want someone that's going to own the mistakes, the shortcomings, and all that stuff. That when those do arise, they take the responsibility of like, I'm going to figure this out and make it right. Instead of
it's no one's perfect.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to hire someone and they're not going to make a mistake, you're mistaken. You're not going to hire someone they're going to just be perfect and never mess anything up, never cost you money, never do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But finding a guy that's willing to own it and do whatever is required, that's the key. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, there's not a whole lot. I don't think that's being taught in school. It's not being pushed against, oh, thanks for my Whataburger, bro.
I said we were getting food.
Damn. I haven't eaten all day.
I haven't eaten.
Show up with some Whataburger.
You look like super nice right now.
Yeah.
How you pause it? Just hit the red button?
Spacebar.
Spacebar. It's a pain in the ass, but when someone goes out of the way to throw an event, that really is a congregation of all of us coming together from all these different cities, that should be a priority. You know what I mean? If you really care about these style of bikes and you want to help it be something like that you can enjoy and have a good time in, then you have to be able to put time into it and effort into it to where you can be able to say like, fuck, man, like I remember the first time we went to the Texas Hill Show. It was just, Mark fucking wrecked his bike because he was fucking drunk off margaritas, But now you're going to Texas Hill Show, and it's like, I'm saying hypothetical in years to come, but because of support of it, it becomes this massive, like nationwide event. Like Giddy Up is becoming now. I think it's 50 year this year or 60 year or something like that.
Yeah,
it's about support. But then I got real kind of. I don't even know what the right way is to say it, but it made me think about that concept when I went to Born Free and when I went to Giddy Up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you'd see these chopper shows and events, which we all know they're fun as fuck, but they're full of Sportsters and Dynas and FXRs.
Yeah.
And there's like a sprinkle of fucking chopper guys there.
Yeah, I mean, all the choppers are in the show.
Yeah.
But if you walk through the parking lot of any chopper show, and it's new Dynas, new baggers, older Dynas. I mean, it's all the stuff that we all enjoy riding. You know?
But then you throw a Dyna show or a Dyna FXR or
it doesn't seem to be as popular.
Then obviously the chopper dudes ain't showing up, even though those guys are riding Dynas now too.
Yeah.
And so it's just like I said, it's a very vague thing. Like I can't even pinpoint the argument that I'm trying to make. I'm just saying like.
Well, I think chopper people take pride in the events and take pride in showing up.
Well, they enjoy they enjoy the simplicity of just being happy, hanging out with your boys, or just people in general, like the congregation of it. And I think maybe there's a lot, maybe a little bit more ego in our scene.
I think there's definitely less ego than in some scenes in here. I don't want to say it's ego. I just think there's not as hard of a drive to show up and to be present. For whatever reason. Like you said, it's hard to pinpoint, but. The performance Harley scene honestly has been an awesome scene as far as support. You know what I mean? If you ask someone for advice, then they pretty much help you out with whatever. There's no egos in that. I mean, obviously there's a couple people that have egos, but for the most part, if you ask someone for help or hey man, that was cool. How'd you do that? Or what parts did you use? 9 times out of 10,
it's solid.
They're down to help you, give you any advice you need, spend any amount of time talking to you on the phone that you really want. But it's just for whatever reason out here in Texas, it's hard to get people to show up to an event. If you throw an event, it doesn't become priority. And part of it possibly could be a lot of the guys in the scene in Texas are a part of the industry. And so when you're a part of the industry, it makes it harder to get away, even at dealerships. Days off are different than the standard world.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people were saying about like the Texas Hill Show, because it's going to be on a Sunday this year.
Yeah. A
lot of people were like, dude, I got to be at work on Monday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what we were all talking about doing, like some of us up here were like, well, fuck it, dude. We're going to, I can camp Sunday night, but I think we're going to try to like throw our own little, not our own deal, but just like come down Saturday and have our camp party Saturday night somewhere. And then
do it both. Do it Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was planning on doing. But, Mike coming down, I want to be able to, camp and party with him. I mean, I love hanging out with all you guys whenever we go camping and shit. So it's like, last year's Texas Hill Show was fucking epic. The camping before the show where we got everybody kicked out of that park, I think. But, and that shit, I'm looking forward to the show, but I'm looking forward to that night of camping with all the dudes and just, some of them I haven't seen, I'll see them at Texas Hills again, but I hadn't seen them since last year.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's really awesome what they're pushing with the Texas Hills stuff, and I think people will start showing up. It's one of those things that takes time. And they're also, they're not doing it to turn a profit.
Yeah, that was
those guys aren't throwing the show to make a ton of money. They're throwing the show because they like this scene.
Yeah, and they want something to do.
Which is good. It's awesome. It creates the show for the right reasons, but it makes it harder for the show to grow instantly because you don't have someone that's like, yo, we made this much money. We can invest this much, you know what I mean? If we invest this and do this, they're just like, yo, we want to throw another show. Like, that shit was dope,
Yeah.
And I think it'll make the show more natural and be way more fun in the long run and become a better show in the long run. But it probably won't grow as quickly as if you had a corporation like, some of these other rallies. You know? And again, you're comparing, these shows to shows that have been around for 15 years, 10 years, 20 years sometimes, some of
it's
them.
just like we talk about though. It's like, you want to be able to, Mike said it best when we did the podcast with him, Zombie Mike did, is like we're now the ambassadors of our generation in motorcycling. What, across the board, everywhere. The people in Australia, Canada that listen, we are the people that have to create the culture for the next generation. So, when you got a lot of lazy fucks that just want to be Instagram famous and not fucking out there doing shit and being a part of it, then it makes you wonder what the scene's going to be like in 10, 15 years when the torch gets passed. And it's, and it's almost like the magazines are going away now. So,
there's not going to be magazines.
Is interaction between people at a fucking campsite or a fucking bike show going to be anything anymore? Or is it going to be like you pick up an iPad at the door and you just kind of, you're just there,
Virtual reality camping?
Virtual reality bike shows and all kinds of crazy nonsense that has no actual personal interaction with people where you're like meeting people.
I think you're kind of taking this into some Black Mirror type shit right now. I don't think that's how drastically bad it's gonna get.
No, I mean, I think it's gonna, I think paper copies of magazines are struggling, but I don't think they're gonna disappear. Just like camping and throwing shows are not gonna disappear.
I give magazines 20 years.
That's graceful.
Until there's a new medium for people. The reason magazines won't ever disappear until there's something else to do it. Well, it's strictly because of builders.
Yeah.
A lot of builders build bikes to have magazine features. They build that.
What I like about it is the concept of being able to hold a physical magazine. Like, that whole cool concept of being able to go see your dad's Easy Rider magazines and see a titty and stuff was like a great feeling from the 80s. You know what I mean?
You could almost say the same thing about, analog photography. You get to take pictures and then you do the stuff and it's like that shit's old.
No,
nobody
you
gives
take
a
a
fuck
picture
about it
and then you
anymore.
go to like Walmart and have it processed. Like
and they don't do that anymore.
So I don't see how that's referenced to magazines.
Well,
seeing titties.
no.
It's antiquated shit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the reason that went away is because they had a newer a newer platform that did the same quality products.
Exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, but
we have Instagram, which gives the same quality photos as magazines.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it from a builder's perspective. I'm not saying I'm a builder, but from someone who builds a bike to be it in magazines.
Yeah.
If you don't have a magazine, you're trying to build magazine quality bikes and stuff.
And what's going to be like?
You're trying to build Instagram quality shit. That's what Jace does.
But that's the thing. It's like anybody can post it to Instagram. You know, there's a thing about, you know, being able to print a magazine takes a large operation of presses and mills and people designing page layouts and all that sort of stuff. And so when you get your bike in there, it shows that you actually, you know, it took some time and some work. A lot of people, you know, and get their stuff in there because of who they know, but it's still, it's difficult to get your work into a magazine.
I mean, you're never gonna have that same, like, you know, flipping through a magazine.
I think that's what I'm saying.
Like that same vibe you get from the magazine itself.
Yeah,
I think that's what, if I was gonna say is gonna keep certain magazines around, is the people that start putting real good quality. You know, kind of like what Show Class does and Dice Magazine does.
Almost making it a book.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a very high quality, you know, they're focusing on the actual photography of the images they're taking.
Yeah.
And it has the entertainment value of seeing a titty or two and seeing cool bikes and shit like that. I mean, dude, you maybe you haven't ever invested in any of these type of magazines, but, you know.
Never. I got Game Informer.
Nerd.
I've been getting that shit since I was like 12, though.
Well, some of us had to jerk off to magazines at one point in our life. We didn't have
I've been jerking
access.
off to porn since I was like 10, dude. Fucking videos.
Would that be considered like child rape or something?
I was raping myself.
You're gay for yourself?
Yeah, dude.
No, but the concept of just magazines, just, you know, I got tons of magazines in my house, and I ain't gonna say that I've recently flipped through them, but there's gonna be a time when I have a little bit more, you know, free time. I'm like, fuck, man, I don't got to do this weekend. I'm gonna chill at the house, man. I'm gonna go through these magazines.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And look at shit.
You know, no one's gonna scroll through their Instagram feed from 20 years ago and be like, "Oh yeah, I totally remember when that happened."
I still scroll
you
through
know
my Instagram feed every now and then, guys.
Yeah,
you need to get a life then, buddy.
You don't scroll through your shit like, "Oh yeah, that was cool. It was a good time."
No, that sounds. Scrolling through I don't even like my own.
You know how you go through magazines, you fucking knock them over on accident, and you're like, "Oh fuck, this shit's in the way. I remember this."
Yeah,
that's how you go through magazines.
Yeah.
I've never even actively seen you ever read, or even buy a magazine ever. Have you ever?
Yeah.
Game Informer,
Game
bro.
Informer. I had two Playboys that I knew of. I stole from Russ. My uncle.
You know, when you go to GameStop and you sign up for the fucking Power member, they give you fucking Game Informer free. So he's never actually invested in a magazine whatsoever. And he stole 2 Playboys.
Yeah.
On record.
Yeah.
Dude, I've definitely got a Harley Davidson model of some sort invested in magazines over the last 20 years of my life. From being in high school and buying lowrider magazines because, you know, 14-inch Dayton's.
Mini trucking magazines.
Yeah, that shit, and then turned into like Super Street, which was like import cars, and then all the, you know.
Trucking.
Hey, but I was ahead of the curve. I knew that, you know, 360 was coming out way before a lot of other people did. So, just saying.
Whatever, nerd.
Nerd,
I was playing World of Warcraft for you, or even that's how nerdy it is.
No, but I think magazines are. It's like I still want them to be there. It's like I want them to be there, but now I'm realizing how important it is for me to subscribe to them, like get subscriptions, and not just.
It's the exact same thing we were talking about with shows.
Yeah,
you know, if you enjoy holding a magazine in your hand, then you need to actively take part in buying magazines, because if you don't, the industry's going to go down the hill. Just like if you enjoy going to shows, you need to actively take part in going to shows. Otherwise, if people don't show up, people aren't going to throw shows.
So should I subscribe to my porn? Is that going to go downhill?
I don't know.
Well,
I can't give you advice on that, man.
Mike had, I mean.
Is he doing this again?
Oh, no, now Mike and I can't be friends anymore. Mike and I can't be friends anymore.
You always mix them up.
Whatever.
So
Mark had a great
fucking
point,
dick.
though. That was a great analogy to put those two together, because that's exactly the truth there.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%,
Yeah.
But
no, I agree with what you're saying 100%. I'm just,
Yeah.
fucking off over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I don't think magazines are going to disappear.
Yeah.
But it is becoming harder. You know, you're going to go into number one. There's not as many Barnes and Nobles when you drive around.
Yeah.
So it's going to be harder to buy them at Barnes and Nobles. It's going to be more of a subscription based thing. But I also think that with owning a magazine or running a magazine, you need to have a really good online content too, or on demand content, I should say.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to figure out a way to navigate around the fact that when bikes are built, people can see them instantly online.
Yeah, so
unless you're hiding it, it's going to be all over the internet. So they need to capitalize as quick as they can on getting bikes out.
That's one reason why, like, I've always been pretty fortunate working with like American Bagger and Urban Bagger, which are the same company. Is that you can literally have your bike shot at Daytona, and within a month and a half or 2 months, you're on. You're in the next magazine.
Yeah.
And that's good to keep it that relevant. And I think that's because they have two magazines.
I think they're going to need to step it up faster than that. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not saying it has to be in the paper content.
Maybe they need to have like...
Maybe they do some sort of online on-demand content that's not riddled with ads. If you're paying for a subscription, I don't want 50 pop-up ads for big dick pills and shit to pop up on my computer. You know,
you already got one, right?
But do all that.
It only gives you ads for things it thinks you need, or things you've been searching. You've been talking about big dick pills or something?
Yeah, we're talking about it now. So tonight we're gonna be on fucking something, and then it's gonna be like, "Hey, is your dick big enough?"
Yeah, that's funny.
Can your dick tame this beast?
Well, see, you know what maybe a concept is like you have that instant access through like social media through so they have a way to give, but then the magazine is like the pinnacle of a
they need to do like
reach.
an in-depth thing on it. You know, don't give me some bullshit quick thing. Like make it more like a book, like you were saying. You know, you may not come out with one a month. You may come out with 4 a year or 6 a year.
But making it
make it quality content. You know what I mean? Don't just have a 3-paragraph write-up on the builder and the bike. Like do a quick history on the dude or a quick history on the bike or whatever's going on, doing more of an in-depth conversation
with the guy.
You know what's crazy is like and I've been fortunate to have quite a few magazine features in my career or whatever, but like the one, like say for instance my orange bagger that's on the cover, you know why it's on the cover? Because when I had Live Fast Customs, we paid like $10,000 in advertisement for that thing. So that was like us buying a cover.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, when it comes out, I'm like, check out my bike on the cover of fucking American Bagger. It wasn't like, check out this $10,000 cover I just bought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of taboo.
Yeah.
But that's how that shit works. I mean, you either got to win a really prestigious like show or something to where you're getting on the cover, or it is a financial gain for the magazines to take care of the higher paid advertisers. Which, let's be honest, like $10,000 worth of a year's worth of advertising in a magazine, or 6 months. I can't remember what it was. It was like 6 months or something for like half a page, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if you put $10,000 into the Instagram algorithms or the Facebook algorithms, how the reach would be?
Yeah.
Compared to.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, again, you got to find that balance between monetary and passion. You know? Whoever's running the business, it's hard if the corporation running the magazine is a giant corporation that owns hundreds of paper products or paper quality products, magazines, newspapers, books, things like that. It's harder for them to create a passion product because they're concerned again about bottom line.
Well, see, that's why I think that things like, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about like Hot Bike or anything, but I honestly don't think that I would. I don't think that I would, unless they restructure their magazine a different way. But the reason I like Show Class so much is that the ads that they do have in there, it's like it's encouraged that people like Dixon or
it's relevant ads. You don't flip through and get I mean, nothing. Not there's anything wrong with Harbor Freight, but when I buy a magazine, I don't want to see a whole page of Harbor Freight ads for a $16.99 grinder.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, see, it's like, you know, I guess I'm infatuated on the idea of seeing a titty or two here and there, but you'll see an ad in Show Class.
Talk to your wife about her showing
don't
you
bring
more
it up.
titties.
Don't you say a thing.
Are you not getting enough titties?
No, I get a lot of titties.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, it's like, you know, it's cool to see a magazine where the ads are just as like edgy as the articles or the content.
Or ads that are relevant.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's from people that I give a fuck to. Oh fuck! Look at that Sweatshop Industries new fucking bag. It's badass. You know.
Tim O'Keefe is doing this Stag Mag stuff. And
his shit's dope too.
He does cool ass shit.
Yeah, but you can tell it's a labor of passion. You know, a lot of it boils down to if you're passionate about what you're doing. And you can tell. You look at a magazine where someone's passionate about the product that's in the magazine, you can tell. And I'm sure, you know, when it comes to big name magazines, I'm sure the people that are running it, that are the faces, are passionate for it, but they've got to answer to a corporation who could care less.
Yeah, so pretty much it's exactly like the Harley dealership that we were talking about.
Yeah.
You got a couple employees that are trying to make a difference and trying to make it something amazing.
But they're handcuffed, you know.
But you have this fucking, you know, these penny pinching, you know, bottom line kind of corporation running stuff, and it takes away the culture of it. So now there is Harbor Freight ads in there. There is,
and again, not
completely
that there's
irrelevant.
anything wrong with Harbor Freight, but it's just, you know, that it ties into a degree to the industry, but that's not, no one's buying a motorcycle magazine to see the Harbor Freight ads that everybody gets in their mailbox. You know, that shit shows up whether you want it or not in your mailbox every week, you know.
It's like as soon as you walk into Harbor Freight, your DNA is in their system.
Oh, yeah.
And they know where you live, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But this coupon's pretty good, though.
But, you know, it's one of those things. You know, it all boils down to the same basic thing, which is passion. If they're not passionate about the magazine and what's in the magazine, if they're more concerned about the profit line and creating ad revenue, then that plays into their magazines. You can tell because the articles become shorter, they become less detailed, and there's more ads everywhere.
Yeah, it is crazy because I started noticing, you know, as someone that buys lots of magazines, is that you start seeing where, you know, these magazines be thick. You're like, fuck, there's a lot of content in here, and it's
the
60,
same
70%.
Yeah, same content,
ads.
just more ads.
And not even like full page ads where there might be some relevant things from like a Trask Industries. Oh fuck, I want to see what Trask is doing. You know, it's still cool to see that, but then no, it's the one. It's 40 pages in the back of 20 ads on a page where they're this big, and it's really just a phone number.
Yeah.
Where you're almost like, call me. And it's like, I'm going to call and see what this person's about. It's some like clickbait style fucking advertising, you know? And
they'll get it worked out eventually, you know? It's just one of those things that they're struggling, I'm sure, with this new thing called social media and how to keep up with it. It's, I mean, when you invest all that money in having a magazine that's printed on paper, and then social media comes out and basically, you know,
every day's a magazine. I'd always say it's like I would rather hot bike just share my bike, you know, once a month or something like that, as opposed to just getting one, you know, from someone that's had a few magazines. Like, yes, it's cool to see it and hold them, but you know, you get more business wise by having bigger companies with higher following share your shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I think it would be dope, like we were saying, do less numbers a year, but do it more featured, and don't be trying to do, you know, a lot of, from what I understand right now, you know, they don't want people that are going to have their bikes in the magazine to post any pictures online before it comes out. They want the magazine to be the first time people see it, which is hard in this day and age.
It's impossible.
But if you did like, you know, a year in review thing where like at the end of the year you get all the bikes that were kind of built and featured for 2017, you can buy a book, and in between you can get you can do the magazines,
exclusive content from those shoots or something like that.
Exactly. You can do the long in-depth talks with the builders with the parts that are
we
used.
do it working on bikes? Why don't we just do a magazine and show them how to do it?
That
right?
costs money, dude, and I can't run that. So I'm struggling to finish my display area in my shop because I don't want to do it. I'm like, I just want to turn wrenches. That's all I want to do. I just want to work on bikes. I don't want to hang a display to hang some shirts on.
I had fun doing that because it's like it's not.
That's almost refreshing to look at.
Oh no, y'all's stuff is dope here for sure. I wish my stuff would look.
I had a lot of homeboys text me and go, "Hey man, your showroom looks dope." I'm like, "You mean my show corner?"
Yeah,
like
your show wall.
Yeah, it's
not even a corner.
No, there's a corner because it has.
Oh
an
yeah,
angle over
yeah. There you go.
One corner.
Yeah, but it's like a big square, a rectangle building, and like one corner of it is legit.
Yeah.
Just don't look up. Just look at. You got an 8 foot of fucking viewing. That's all right.
Yeah.
No, dude, like. cheap ass $22 plywood and the fucking stain, like gray stain. I like, if I like gray, so obviously I'm gonna do that.
we do gray stain on everything you build.
Yeah.
Everything.
Like, let's do this and then let's gray stain it. It's almost like,
It's like, oh, this again.
I want to go out of the box this time, but yeah, let's do this, but gray stain it. It's
Yeah, I want to light gray stain this time.
Yeah.
it's like the paint job guys. Like, yeah, I really want to different. I want to be different. So I'm thinking skulls. Like,
But maybe Cyclops skulls,
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do some kind of. Can I do a Day of the Dead school? Like, oh, you really want to be different, huh?
skull, but I want a gold tooth in my skull.
Yeah, like I haven't done that a million times.
Yeah. That's actually pretty cool, though.
It's getting cool again.
I don't want to run a magazine, dude.
I really just want to,
I would
obviously
like
do
to run
this.
a magazine, but I would do it super, like, my magazine would be for the fucking hipsters, like a motherfucker. It'd be so artsy-fartsy.
That's entertaining to look at, though. I like
There's
that shit.
Nothing wrong.
I
with
like
My shit would be
I like
super
photography.
artsy-fartsy.
I would want to feel like when we do these podcasts with people we don't know. Like I want to feel like I'm getting to know the person that built this thing. I want a real in-depth article written about something.
Y'all are talking about this, and I have this odd inspiration to go start a magazine thing right now.
Do it.
Like I really
do it, man.
You better than your music.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit.
No, but the
I'm quitting.
good. I don't want to pay
Going
you
home.
The yeah, like when you just to have to get more inspiration from is basically would be fun, and that's what I used to do. That's what I used to buy magazines for.
I get inspired by other people's inspirations. You know what I mean?
True. So like when you see someone else building some shit in a magazine, you see a badass bike or cool paint job, or someone used a wheel design that you thought was ugly, but now you think it's the coolest thing in the world because of the way they did it.
Yeah.
That's all different ways of inspiration. But when you barely
it's
show
inspiration
pictures,
and it's motivation, you have to be motivated daily. Motivation is something that has to occur daily. It can't just be a once in a while thing you get motivated.
the one thing I think is the most annoying thing in magazines, and this is just
Titties.
no. The
dick pics.
Big dick pill ads.
No, the one thing that really annoys me, and I know that there's a lot of people that like this, but for me, I just don't like them. I don't like product reviews. I don't like product reviews, and I don't like product installs. I feel like that's a waste of money.
Here's the deal. I think it's a great thing, but it has to be.
What the fuck's gonna look?
It has
at a
to be
magazine
objective. It
to
can't
learn how to put exhaust on when you go on YouTube.
But the thing is, it has to be objective. Like, if you're gonna do that, you can't do it as like, okay, you pay us and send us the exhaust, and we'll give you a good review. You have to set it up, and it's one of those things that has to be financially possible in your business model. But it has to be, you send us the pipe, and
we're gonna run it.
We're gonna give our honest review, good or bad.
Think about it though, and that's why, like, Instagram and YouTube influencers are more valuable to give them a part because you're getting real time feedback and constant daily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's the thing is, but those people have to. They can't get sucked into this whole corporate sponsorship BS. Like, you have to stay objective. You have to stay away from just saying, "Oh, this exhaust is great, cha-ching." Like, it works fantastic. Go visit my sponsors of this exhaust. Like, if it sucks, you got to be honest. That's one thing I try and do with customers when they ask about products. I'll be like, "Listen, dog, I understand you want this really cool exhaust that you think is awesome, but it's gonna suck. Yeah. It's gonna kill your power. It's gonna they're known for braking or whatever it is."
Yeah,
and you have to be able to give that completely honest review. And as soon as you start, it's again finding that balance of
being professional with your honest review and not bashing people.
You have to be professional, but you also can't take the money. It's the same. It all boils down to the same shit that we were talking about earlier about being, whether it's about money or passion, and you have to keep the passion side of it. Obviously, you have to make money, but you have to do it in a smart way. If you're going to take a sponsorship, lay it out like this. Listen, send me your product. If I install it and I like it and it does what it says it's supposed to do, then I will accept the sponsorship, or whatever the deals of the sponsorship are at that point. But, if you're let's say you run a YouTube channel and someone sends you an intake or whatever it is, and you accept the sponsorship before you get it in, and then you get it in, you try to install it, and it's a pain in the dick, or it doesn't work, or stuff's cross-threaded or broken, or
lacking.
Yeah, whatever it is, you're now tied in to pushing that product to all the people who follow you, and that product was subpar because you want the money.
Yeah, or the free part.
Or the free, whatever you're getting. You want the monetary side of it, and you're not concerned about the passion side.
Yeah, it does become a real iffy and sketchy water situation because, I mean, who wants to give their part to the guy that's bashing the companies, rightfully so?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what, I'd rather just give my shit to the person that's happy.
Exactly. And the side of that is you have to keep that professionalism. If there is something wrong, you need to reach out to the company before you do anything and give them the opportunity to make it right. You know?
Yeah, if you start talking shit and
if you get online and you're just like, as soon as something doesn't work, oh, this didn't bolt on. Okay, listen, I don't know if you know how manufacturing works, but there's tolerances,
actually a mechanic?
Yeah. Do you understand what you're doing? Or are you just some guy that
has a nice following, and so you're getting free shit, and you're trying to put it on yourself, and you're cross-threading bolts and blaming
you. No, I'm kidding.
King cross-threaded over here.
Yeah, I've cross-threaded quite a few things on his bike.
This bolt doesn't go in there.
Glad I disassembled my bike.
It's like halfway in. It's like crooked. Yeah.
The hole. It's coming out crooked out the hole. Like, I don't know why it stopped. It won't go in any farther.
Jesse probably still doesn't know that there's different sizes of Phillips in flatheads.
No, I know that. I have definitely.
Yeah, after he strips a whole bunch of them.
Oh no, it's 2018. I was fucking up in 2016.
Yeah.
All right. I've learned.
What size is a seat bolt?
I don't even know that.
Yeah, I'm like average.
It's usually the biggest one that I have.
It's a P4, Phillips 4.
Show you a P4.
Big dick pills.
Somebody needs them.
Magazine titties.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. The keywords of this thing is magazine titties and big dick pills.
Yeah.
But so there's like I feel like there's me personally, like I would rather, if I was going to invest in anything advertisement wise, I would probably prefer to advertise with real people.
Yeah.
That are constantly on their bikes, constantly involved in things, and that's going to show off our work more than anything, right? And then there's also the aspect of like I would rather do that than invest in a magazine that I have to hope somebody picks up. When, say, I can invest in somebody that has a decent amount of followers, or they have a good engagement, which is also as important as your followers. Is not that you have 20,000, but are you only getting like 100 likes on your pictures?
Yeah.
Or nobody's commenting on it?
Well, and a big part of that now is this whatever algorithm that Instagram came up with recently. I've been finding, like, I'll go and I'll see a picture, I'll be like, damn, what's this bike this dude, like, it's finished on his page, and I'll go click on their profile, and it's someone that I follow, and realize that there's 15 posts that never made it onto my page somehow. Like, I didn't get any of them. Whatever they're doing, I don't know what it is, but they need to kind of take a look at it, because it's definitely affecting that post engagement, like you were talking about.
What do you think is probably the best, like,
Valtrex?
Does it work?
Yeah.
So what do you think is probably the, like, I guess, fuck it, so the other day, I was talking to you on the phone, I was telling you about how I got hosed for that money from that company that I bought those parts for a customer, and then straight got fucked. And
yeah,
it's
that's
like
bullshit anyways.
And we talked a little bit, but my statement was, I can't stand a lot of companies coming into the industry who are going back on what we talked about earlier about being passionate or being money driven. There's, especially in the bagger side of it, is like when it got popular, a lot of people saw dollar signs and just applied their, basic mechanic knowledge to the craft of
basic manufacturing knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of people started manufacturing parts that had never built a part for a motorcycle, but they knew how to create a mold and lay fiberglass, or do ABS molding, or whatever, do some machining on some parts, but had no clue about.
And now that the big wheel side of things have kind of slowed down, it's like they're they're seeing that the money's not coming in like it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
So it just sucks because, like, if you really are passionate about bikes, then you like bikes across the board. You're not just one bike kind of person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like it. I'm making a very strong statement here, saying that if you really like bikes and motorcycles, then it's hard for you to say that this is the only type of bike that you like. I mean, you should.
Oh, trust me, if I had infinite funds, I would have a big wheel bagger in my garage for sure. Mm-hmm. I would have also a chopper. I would have an adventure bike. I'd have a dual sport. I would have some sort of race bike.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have it would not just be performance Harley Davidson, dynos, baggers, FXRs, things like that. The reason that's mostly what I own now is because it's a very functional bike.
Yeah,
it's something.
It gives you the most. It's like putting all those bikes as close to one as possible.
It's as many as possible in one as I can.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
I can get a good looking bike that has the flow or the styling from a big wheel bagger, because big wheel baggers do look good.
Yeah, they have the curve appeal.
There's some that get a little ridiculous. They can get a little too big, but a tastefully done big wheel bagger looks good. It flows good if it's built correctly. They just ride like crap, choppers have that cool old school appeal.
Yeah.
It's also difficult. I'm not gonna say it's difficult, but it takes a lot to ride one of those cross country.
Yeah.
But there's aspects of all those things in the performance Harley niche, or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's why those are the bikes that I own. But yeah, dude, if we started this magazine, and all of a sudden I'm rolling in millions of dollars, for sure I'll have a big wheel bagger. Yeah. For sure I'll have a classic chopper, and for sure I'll have a stupid as fuck, like 2001 chopper from the West Coast Choppers OCC days.
I still like
what?
Too.
I mean, that was the stuff that pushed me into the industry. I'll own one. It's definitely not going to be like my only bike, but I'll own one at some point someday.
Well, it just goes to show that a lot of people that can adapt, it's like their passion really isn't in motorcycles. It was just in
money. That
and like I'm trying to find the right way so I don't fucking eat my own shit right now. But
a lot of those people got sucked up in the lifestyle.
In the lifestyle,
motorcycling,
showing off money.
Yeah, well, it not just showing off money, but a lot of those people got sucked into the the motorcycle lifestyle in general has been a very for a long time hardcore lifestyle, or outlawish lifestyle.
Yeah.
A lot of drug use, a lot of loose
Titties.
women, a lot of
big dick pills.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but a lot of that stuff. And so people got sucked in. They saw a way to make a ton of money and get to do that stuff. And so that's where their passion lies. Their passion wasn't in the actual motorcycle. It was in the party or the money, you know?
Which would make sense why a lot of them, would buy the bike for the event.
Yeah.
But then there was also this fucking huge trailer.
And see, the thing is like there's nothing wrong with that, though. You know what I mean? I get it. I love riding, and I wish more people would ride.
Yeah.
But not everybody wants to go smash miles like that, And without people like that in the industry, the industry wouldn't be alive. You know what I mean? And
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I talk bad on trailers so much because that, even if I'm wrong, somebody's got to be able to say it. It's just gay. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's,
trailers are good when your shit don't work, or, a lot of people are saying, like, hey, you're going to have a booth in Daytona. And I'm like, no, but if I was, then yes, I would have to trailer my stuff down there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for certain shops that are going to be setting up vendor spaces to trailer the shit. 100% fine. Nothing wrong with that. That is totally cool.
Yeah.
But I still am a firm believer that if you are going to be a shop and you're going to be an effective and honest and able to give your customers the best knowledge and experience, you need to have done real riding and put that under your belt.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. I'm not saying that you can have a trailer and that be a substitute for having real world experience on riding motorcycles.
You spend 10 years of your life riding bikes cross country, and you done that, and you got it figured out. If you want to go to Sturgis to the trailer,
it's not even about that. Like, if you want a trailer to the shows because it's a show, that's one thing. But then if you're riding it when it's not shows, like, between shows, you're doing a cross country trip. You know what I mean? You want to go to the show and you don't want to sleep on the ground. You want to, what does Jeremy call it? Glamping, right? Or something like that, if you want to do something like that, totally different story. And like I said, without the guys that own the trailers, there would be no industry. Those are the guys that are willing to put money into bikes and spend money, because most of us are not rolling in the dough. You know what I mean? We're sitting there, man, I really need to buy this carburetor for this bike, but fuck, I gotta pay rent. Rent's coming up, and I gotta hold off. We're not just like, oh yeah, I'm dropping 15 G's tomorrow on this bike, and then buying another one next week.
See, I think the perspective that I kind of look at it, and is that a lot of people get into bikes because they want another experience. They want whether it's that midlife crisis thing that people get on bikes, or whatever it is. But all I'm trying to promote is that if you just ride it and do these things or try it, you might find a real experience that's going to make more meaning than just hanging out at, the place you trailer to.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different experience riding to a show versus
it's
trailering
hard for me to
a show.
It's hard for me to say, look, trailers are gay, which we all joke about it, and that's kind of what it is a joke, but I guess I say it so much that it's becoming truth. But the thing is that there's a lot of different scenarios, just like you said, like a lot of different ones. So there's a lot of things that trailers are necessary, and obviously I do agree 100% that the trailer guys are the ones that do ultimately pay the bills 100%. But I feel like in a sense you have to find a way to stay true to how you really feel about things, but also be respectful to the people that, like we just said. Yeah.
Well, and I think, at a lot of these shows there should be kind of within the show there should be subsections, not just show sections like Dyna or Sports or whatever, but like, this is a bike that was built for shows. Yeah. And these are the bikes that were built that rode here, that had actual miles put on. Because, if you're really...
Because you're looking at it, you're judging it with two different eyes. You're judging one from an artistic standpoint, like this is a beautiful crafted bike. Yeah. And then this is a beautiful bike, and I love these rock chips, and man, I wouldn't get that bug out of that fucking fin either. You know what I mean? That thing looks like it's in there. Yeah. So there's two different ways you're looking at it. So when you put those two in the same fucking thing together, then then you get your realist, your hardcore guys that are into this shit. Then you get your guys, and that's what creates this difference.
Well, I mean, you're never going to be able to make everybody happy. Yeah, I think you're just coming at it from a purist standpoint. You're like, motorcycles are built to be ridden, which is
a fucking trailer Nazi. Burn them all.
Gas them. I want people to get. And it's stupid of me. It really is. It's really dumb of me to even be this strongly opinion about it. But it's just like, it's like I was talking with him earlier, man. It's like, when I go on a cross-country trip, it really does something to me. It's not going to do the same thing to everybody.
Exactly. I mean, we have the same thing. It's, part of the fun of riding a bike across the country is the what-if factor, when we first met, we met up in was it Santa Cruz, New Mexico, or Las Cruces?
Las Cruces, yeah.
So we met up in Las Cruces, New Mexico, on our way to go to a 2-hour show, hour-long show in Phoenix, Arizona. And at the time, I had a brand new 2016 Lowrider S in my garage. Yeah. And I rode my 1988 piece of crap FXR that I'd pieced together with parts in my garage that I'd collected over the years of working on motorcycles. And my buddy that rode out there with me, was like, "Why are you taking the old bike?" I was like, "Because it provides that fun factor of what if, It's about what makes people happy. Some people would love to go ride and they just want it to be reliable. If you don't have the mechanical aptitude to work on your bike on the side of the road, by all means, you don't need to be riding a knucklehead across the country. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you do, it just adds that little bit of fun factor of like, from my personal standpoint, anybody can go buy a 2017, 2018 bike and ride it across the country. Not everybody can build a 1988 bike out of spare parts from their garage and ride it across the country and back, to me, that's my own personal standpoint, but I also understand the people that want to trailer their bike. It's not my cup of tea. You know, the only reason my bikes are on a trailer is if I have to take a truck because I'm setting up a booth or something.
Yeah.
Other than that, I will be riding my bikes wherever I can.
I just, you know, I still always tell people too that, you know, every bike, whether it's brand new or old or whatever, has like a different experience of riding.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I think it's cool. You take that brand new 2018 bike and ride it across country, and I guarantee we just talked about
you'll have a completely different experience than if you're, you know, pulling a Danger Dan and riding a panhead with a long chop panhead across the country. You know, it's going to be completely different than riding a gold FXR across the country. It's going to be completely different than riding a dual sport across the country. They all serve their own purpose.
Yeah,
It's it's about whatever. That's the thing about motorcycles. There's so many little niches in there that you can do, that you can have, that can provide whatever you want. You know, can fill whatever void you have.
Jesse's like itching to say something.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
You thinking about big dick pills again, or what?
No, it was like, I mean, you know, it's just like girls, man. They're all different. You know, they all ride the same, though.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if they all ride the same, but they're definitely different.
You get the point, though.
They're all, but same thing. You know, there's more than one type of woman out there, just like there's more than one type of bike. You know, if you're not into smashing miles, then you can ride a big wheel bagger across the country. I'm not gonna say smashing miles, but if you're not concerned about trying to take turns as fast as possible, if your goal is not to hit that turn as fast as you can ride a big wheel bagger across the country.
There's really not, like I rode our big wheel bagger plenty of times, and you know, that's cool. I joke about big wheel bagger people just because it's funny. You know what I mean? Just like we joke about the chopper dudes and their turquoise rings and shit, and their fucking, what are those little things they wear around their neck? And
I don't know, but secretly I'm just hating.
Secretly you're just hating.
Secretly I'm just
hating. You
hating.
know, we talk shit about the Dyna dudes and the fucking Dixon flannels and the Vans shoes.
You know,
I came in looking exactly like a Dyna, bro.
Well, I was about to say, you know the memes that pop up.
They're like Crew hat.
They're like, oh, this is the Dyna Bro starter kit. Yeah. I sat there and I looked at it and I was like, everything except the sunglasses I have in my closet right now.
Yeah.
You know,
but this shit's funny though. It's funny.
No, it's hilarious. Yeah,
it's funny.
If you can't make fun of yourself, then you're doing something wrong.
That's why I like when, you know, even though most of the people that listen to this that bring something up that I say, they know that it's in a joking way.
Yeah,
and it's cool, and that's what it's supposed to be. You know, because I dig big wheels. You know, I still build. I have a build going on. I have one that we got to do. So it's like I still dig it, and you can ride them across country. Yeah. But it's a different experience than if you did it on, you know, a 21 or a stock 18, 19-inch wheel. Yeah. Or if you did it on a chop or FXR. I mean, it's just all different. You know.
Hey, and it's a different experience if you do it in a trailer. You know. I'm just saying, Jason.
Yeah. You can listen to our podcast all the way there.
Exactly.
It gets about right there and be like, what? Fuck these guys.
Like he's in there thinking he's badass. Like, yeah, we're going to Arizona Bike Week, babe. And then, hey, let's listen to these Fast Life fags, see what they're talking about. We're just like fucking nerds and trailers. And like this dude's like feeling demasculine.
Titties and big tits.
You said big dicks?
Yeah. See, I'm so straight I couldn't even say it.
Yeah, right.
All I had pictured in my head.
You gave yourself every night. Three times.
If you have to brag about how straight you are, you probably got a little bit of gay in you. I'm just gonna throw that one out.
Like you don't look at some people sometimes and be like,
when you jerk off, you have to have a dick.
No, but it helps.
Can you jerk off to only chicks?
Yeah.
There was some comedian one time had a joke. He's like, I can prove to any guy that they're gay. And it goes on. Someone goes, okay, prove to me that I'm gay. You like to watch porn? Yeah, I like to watch porn. When you watch porn, you like to see a little dick fucking the chick? No, man, I want to see a big dick.
I was just about to say that. I was just before you even said it, I was like, but is it gay?
Hey, you know,
like, damn.
To each their own, you know?
What?
But,
yeah, I guess. Do you let your chick buy a bigger dildo than you?
Hey, man, whatever you're into, right?
There's Jesse trying
whatever
to plug
you're into, right?
Is that your new catchphrase now?
Yeah, dude.
It's catching on with him only.
I did it on accident in Sturgis when I was really drunk, and it's sticking, you know?
That's right. I need to get your autograph on a hat or something before I leave. You know,
God, dude, we went to Applebee's, and this chick I know, she's like, She was drunk, and she was like, "Oh my god, you're like fucking famous!" And I'm like sitting there with my chick, and I'm like, "This is fucking awkward as shit right now."
Did she
You
get your
should just be
autograph?
like, yeah.
Fuck no.
I was on Travel
I
Channel.
just gave her the look.
You
Like,
should have said, did you see my other show on Spike TV called Sons of Anarchy or FX called Sons of Anarchy?
or FX.
Whatever it was on. It's on
Yeah,
Netflix
okay.
now. Everything's on Netflix.
Yeah. Okay, babe.
Fun shit. So what? I guess what's the goal for this year, man? You know, where you trying to take things and.
Man, the goal is to just grow the shop as much as I can. You know, a personal, I don't know if personal goal is right, but the one thing I'm going to try and do more this year is writing. I didn't do as much as I would have liked to last year. I spent a lot of time in the shop, and I mean, I'm still going to be spending a lot of time in the shop this year, obviously, but I want to get out and do more writing, whether it's local or long distance. You know, one of the things that I'm going to do for sure this year is I'm going to ride out to Arizona Bike Week. I'm going to tie that into a visit out to Phoenix. You know,
Yeah.
I got family in Phoenix. I'm going to go see them and, you know, tie that into a ride. I want to make it to more events. It's just, you know, the big events like that, it's not a plug for me so much as it can be for other shops, because all my business is local.
Yeah.
You know, so the local stuff I'm going to try and get to more of, but I enjoy going to the big stuff just because that provides the content that people want to see. You know, they
Yeah.
want to see people doing those long rides on these bikes. You know, they want to see all that. So
Also, you when you do it, man, like when you get out of the shop, you know, and you do these things, it refuels.
it's like a reboot.
You-
It's
yeah.
a reboot for your system, and
'Cause
I haven't had a reboot in a long time.
Dude,
It
you'll
makes it
drag
hard.
ass. You'll drag ass mentally, physically.
Yeah.
You know, in a way that you just need to get away for a couple of days, whether it is a Giddy Up or a Texas Hill Show or an Arizona Bike Week, and you come back, like you'll be literally like day 3 into a 4-day trip. You're like, you know what? I'm ready to get back to work. Like I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know,
It
It's like when
reminds
we
you
got
of
back
what
from
you're
Texas
doing.
Hills last year. I was so ready to get back to work. No, not Texas Hills. We got back from Giddy Up last year.
Yeah.
I painted the FXR frame. Like
Yeah.
we came in here, remember? That was that day we got back. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, dude. Let's just go paint. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You know? So.
It's about hitting that reset and about the motivation. You remember why you do it. You know, working in the industry, any industry, it's hard to remember why you're doing something if all you're in is a shop all day long. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, you're working on bikes and that's awesome, but you know,
That goes with anything passion related.
no, for sure, yeah. You
Yeah.
have to be able to enjoy what you're doing. You have to remember why you're doing it. And if you're not out there constantly riding, it's hard to remember why you love bikes.
Yeah.
You know, but once you get out there, you're like, oh yeah, this is why. This is totally my place. This is my relaxation. This is my zen. This is my, you know, stress relief. You know, that's been a thing that I've been, you know, struggling with, because up until I started this shop, I've always had to ride at least 40 miles a day to and from work. I never lived close. Now my shop is a mile from my house. Super convenient business-wise. It's awesome. I can provide my customers with early morning and late night drop-offs and pickups, which is an awesome thing I like to provide them with. But it takes that stress relief factor out of my day. So, you know, I would ride home and I would, you know, I don't want to say take it out on my family, but I wouldn't be as loving to them as I could, because I didn't have that hour,
Release.
30 minutes of de-stressing time
Yeah.
before I came home, you know,
Yeah.
all the time. And it's just one of those things that, you know, that's going to be my goal, you know, this year, is to just try and get out and do more, smash more miles, even if it's just a bunch of local stuff. Just
We're
get out
gonna-
and do stuff.
We're gonna get white girl wasted at Rock Rally again this
I don't
year.
know, man.
Fucking I am. I'm bringing my own beer this time.
I don't know, dude.
That was fun, dude.
It was fun. I haven't had a beer since before Christmas, so
Damn, really?
That'll
yeah.
You,
We
you
know
didn't-
we're peer pressure. We're gonna be like, come on, come
What
on.
was
We'll
this?
see.
Wait, hold on. You were down here. No, you didn't
You
drink.
didn't
Nope.
drink.
Fuck, you're
Yeah.
a goddamn god.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at the boxcar that we were doing that Dyna FXR
mixer.
mingle. Yeah,
Yeah.
the mixer.
Yeah.
We got fucked that night.
I was a DD. Drove us back.
Yeah, he did. He did drive us all back.
You did.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
I also haven't had like sugar since then too.
Congratulations, man. You're on another level of humanity than I am.
He's on a different wave.
On a different fucking.
Nah, I gave up
I'm in
drinking
a
once
different lunch
before,
period
though.
than you are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I've always had the ability to just stop something. I mean, when I was younger, I was doing a lot of stupid stuff and doing a lot of hardcore drugs, and like one day to the next, just boom, done. Like
I'm over it.
no withdrawals, no, anything like that. Just stop. I quit drinking that way before too when I was on probation. I sat there and just stopped from one day to the next, and I quit for 2-something years. I didn't have a drink.
Dude, I do like 4 days, and I'm like, that's good enough to prove I'm not alcoholic.
But yeah, I mean, other things we're going to try and do this year. I mean, obviously, this is our, we've officially been in the building now over a year. We're going to try and do a 1-year party sometime in April.
Good.
I haven't locked down a date yet. I don't know what all we're going to do, but, I'm trying to do something and tie it into, talk to the guys from the Hills, do a pre-Hills thing there also, have the guys from the Hills show up and 1-year anniversary and do, another thing I'd like to really start doing at some point is some sort of swap meet for,
That'd be cool.
Later model stuff. There's swap meets and, y'all have them in Dallas, Fort Worth. I think there's some in San Antonio or Houston, but in Austin, I went to one swap meet at a shop and it was awesome. And I think it'd be awesome to, cool to have another place where people can come and sell your old parts or whatever and come and buy some used stuff for cheaper and just, again, create more of that lifestyle feel instead of it just being a hobby, make it feel like this is part of my life, like riding my motorcycle and fixing it and putting parts into it is part of who part of my life now, not just what I do on the weekends.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Who knows?
That's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to figure out something cool to do for your 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So
We'll figure it out.
So where can they find you at?
Man, we are
You're probably gonna hear before and after as well. Texas.
Hey, you know what? Don't even plug yourself, bro.
.com.
We got you.
We're everywhere. We got one of those Veros now.
Yeah.
We all have a Vero now.
It's starting to become a little fluid.
I heard some sketchy stuff about
What'd
the
they say
people
about
that own it, man. The dude that owns it, like some crazy Iranian drug lord or something that's
So he's like
Fuck
the rest of
yes.
us.
out to get everybody. They're all concerned about what information. I don't know. I'll have to do some research into it, but
Well,
That's one of them conspiracy theory ass bullshit
Yeah.
things.
someone that's been hustling real hard on Instagram, like, you're not taking my followers away.
well, the bottom line is, if Vero does blow up,
There's two things I'll
Zuckerberg's
always...
gonna buy it.
Yeah,
Mark's
yeah.
gonna buy it, and it's just gonna become another part of it, just like Facebook and
Well,
Instagram.
There's two things you gotta always believe. One, the moon landing was fake. And two, everyone on Vero is out to get you.
I think the platform's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, from the short period of
It's
time
just
I've
if
been
it could
on it,
work a little bit
yeah,
better.
they're having some issues. I mean, it's a new platform. I'm sure it grew exponentially more than they expected.
It came out in 2015, and then they just
Re-drug
vamped
lorded it.
I do like the fact, that you see everything, so when you log off or you close the app at a certain point, when you get back on, you start there again. You don't go to the top of your feed and have to scroll back down to your point. You start where you left off. But the problem lies in that you get these people that follow 10,000 things. You're following 10,000 people on Instagram. Now you've got 10,000 people of stuff you have to scroll through. So for people like that, the Instagram algorithms may work, but I like, me personally, if it doesn't involve motorcycles, I don't follow you. I don't care. I don't get on Instagram to see titties. I don't get on Instagram to figure out what
You said that,
car
though?
stuff. Yeah. I don't follow. The only chicks I follow are chicks that ride on Instagram.
I don't either, Mark.
But, so to me, I want to see
Call him
every
Mark.
post.
Yeah.
I want to see every post from
Marky
every person
Mark.
I follow, because it all is tied into what I do and what I like,
Yeah.
Whereas some people will follow all this dumb, like, people follow people that just make memes, which is great for them. That's fine. But
Guilty of that.
Those
I like memes.
there's
too.
there's
I like
nothing wrong
Jeremy's
with that,
memes.
but when if you have to see everything that person posts and not just the ones that are getting popular, then it might become annoying at some point.
If you go to, I just know if you go to somebody's page, if you want to see more of their shit, you just go through and like all their shit or comment on a couple of their photos, and then that changes the algorithm.
I'm terrible at social media.
Yeah.
I like Pinterest. I really fucking like that shit, dude. I'll be laying in bed at night. And
Fuck trailers. I like Pinterest. Give me my titties.
I want tits and magazines. I don't want to see dicks in my porn because I'm not a fag.
Yeah. But I like Pinterest.
Nah, Pinterest is dope. If it was more of a real social media though. But I mean, I'm saying like, there's no point. It's good for what it is. Like if you need inspiration for projects or
Pinterest is like, hey,
design.
you can make these cool things.
It's just so much cool shit on there, dude. Fucking everything. But it's repetitive. There could be a lot of shit on there, but
I was on there for like 10 minutes and found myself reading some weird
the only other
bullshit.
social media app that I really fucking like is Craigslist, and not the back pages of it. It's
Sure.
It's like the wishful thinking. Like, do I need a couch right now? What's on?
That's why you get on Facebook Marketplace and then you just start scrolling through and you're like,
Dude, I'm on OfferUp.
I do that on OfferUp quite a bit.
So I wrecked that fucking
OfferUp has never worked for me.
I wrecked up that truck out there, right? So I'm gonna after Oliver left today. He has a new Sprinter van. Like, I'm all about that shit now. Like, I've been wanting a van for a long time, and I can't nut up and buy a Sprinter right now. So I'm just gonna find me a dope like cargo style
Mason's
van.
selling his van.
It's just too big and it's not practical for me to drive to work every day.
That's true.
Show them the van.
I have to go out there and warm it up.
If you did that though, you would have to put your face on the side of it.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Yeah, I want a van. Me and my
It's gotta
wife
be both of our faces,
We
isn't
want to
it?
do some traveling.
Yeah.
In a van and shit. And realistically, in a Sprinter would be the idea because I want to still be able to take a bike. But
They make these things called trailers that you can take your bike.
What's that?
If the bike is in a van, it's not trailering. It's a different concept.
Did you say that in my
It's
church?
called
Totally
vanning.
I
different.
cannot believe you said that word in my church.
I don't like that you just I got to defend myself right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Nah, it's that we've been wanting to travel a lot in the van, and so that concept. And I think if I got a van, that it would kind of help us kind of jumpstart that kind of thing, and I think she'd be real happy.
Oh man, I would love to do a van. I've been paying attention to Mark Atkins. Got a van, and I mean, obviously he's on another level as far as someone in the industry, but he's got a brand new van and got all this crazy. I mean, it's just like, man, one day I'd like to have a new Mercedes diesel van, with all the stuff I need that'll fit a motorcycle that's big enough to fit my big ass in there, because I mean, I barely fit in a regular van.
It's like right now I want a sweet cargo, but I don't want a white one.
What a sweet cargo, bro.
I want like a color, like a gray one, and that'd be so fucking sick. And I'm a painter, so it's like
you know what I'm in love with is like 80s style stock paint jobs on like vans and trucks. Like but I want a new one. I want like a 2018.
But like 80s
all the
style
modern,
paint.
all the modern amenities with
Absolutely
backup
agree with
cameras.
you.
And,
That is the only thing
lane
I agree with
departures.
that came from the 80s that I think is worth the shit.
Yeah, I love me some Zach Morris style paint jobs, man.
Some A-team shit.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
Well,
Thanks
fellas,
for coming. Fuck it.
I'm trying to go to bed.
What time is it? 2:30.
2:30. Time to drive back to Austin. I'll get back
2:30
around
a.m.
5 o'clock. Super fun.
You're a fucking beast, dude. I don't know how you're awake right now.
He drank 4
I just drank
Zions.
4 Zions right now.
Those are
so.
fucking weak, though, so you need 4 to get through the
He's
night.
gonna get 4 more on the way out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I stopped drinking.
I can't believe Jesse said that. Fuck that guy. He's gonna send a picture. He's got like 8. What? It's like all sober and shit.
You guys do it, man.
Yeah, it's
Grinding
gonna be
my
him.
teeth.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. I guess everybody will see you at Giddy Up later this month.
Yeah, so we're going to be at the pre-party for Giddy Up at Green Harley Davidson. Mm-hmm. We'll be there. We'll have a booth at the Giddy Up
You
event.
gonna camp?
I'm going to try. I think so.
We're camping.
Yeah.
Do you know the dates?
It's March 30th and March 31st. I'm 90% sure, but
So rent's due as soon as we get done.
Fuck.
Yeah. So March 30th is the
we got the
pre-party
3-day grace
show.
period, yeah.
and then March 31st is Giddy Up. So
Dope.
we'll be out there camping for that.
We're actually, I know for a fact, me and maybe I know Mike, not you, but Mike, is, and maybe Gary Stevens and maybe somebody else. We're gonna. I know Jordan, James.
Yeah, he's coming.
Jordan's gonna. I mean James. He's gonna
Get
ride
your
down with us
shit together.
Thursday. So we're gonna go down Thursday and camp and get a good camp spot and camp Thursday night, and that way we're ready to go to the thing on Friday at Green. And you just kind of have a good time on Friday because, Saturday we'll be stuck in the show all damn day.
Yeah.
And Sunday we're coming home. So,
Yeah.
So that's the plan for us.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be out there Thursday night, but we'll be out there Friday. We'll probably camp out there Friday night.
Yeah.
And then camp out there
night's pretty
Saturday
good,
night. Yeah.
Saturday's fucking wild.
Saturday's the wild time.
That's
Yeah.
when, shit just goes.
You were there last year, though.
For a couple hours. I
think that's the
every
first time
show.
I met you.
I didn't get to camp at a lot of the shows because I ended up.
Stop going so hard the first night. And
Yeah, because then you
next
ruin the
night,
next night.
It's like you're so excited to be there, and you finally get there. You're like, "Fuck yeah, 18 packs!" Just go crazy. And then it's like the next day you're hungover the whole day, and tonight's the night everybody's partying.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
And you're
asleep.
like, quit popping fireworks! Trying to fucking sleep!
Are you fucking crazy? It's 9:30. I'm trying to camp.
Do not throw that snake in my tent!
Yeah, what was it last year? Some chick twirling fireballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were all yelling, pterodactyl!
Yeah, it was a pterodactyl fucking party last
Hell
year.
yeah, dude.
You know?
All right, well,
All right.
we're out.
Anyway. Really?
How uncomfortable was that?
I don't even remember what we talked about.
We went from whatever you guys were talking about when I wasn't there to, I know we talked about magazines, Easy Riders and shit,
Anyway.
Playboys. Anyways, follow our stuff.
Any
Yeah.
insightful shit?
Big dick pills don't work.
For sure they don't. I tried.
Just buy a Magnum and lie to everybody.
They need to make dick extensions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Awkward.
we had so much to say. Well,
Yeah.
hope you guys like Mark. That was Brad just texting me. So
Yeah. Hope you guys liked the podcast. Mark's a fucking close fucking friend of ours. He's a close friend on my Vero. So you know it's
That was a
real.
good one.
Yeah, you know it's real.
he's an acquaintance.
Yeah. So yeah. Fucking ballin'.
Yeah, I'm glad Mark finally. Mark lives down in Austin and we're up here in Dallas, so it's a good 160 something miles between us. You wouldn't be able to tell if you listen to our podcast. We feel like we're always right there next to each other. But I'm glad he got to come up. You'll probably hear Mark on in quite a few podcasts. I actually would love to do a podcast with Mike, Mark, and Brad.
Yeah, that would be fucking solid gold.
Would that not be fucking like
Solid gold.
a tripped out fucking podcast? So definitely you'll hear from Mark again, and you'll probably hear some more from Mike. And then we still haven't introduced you guys to Brad yet. Maybe if we get the balls to release the Drunk Cast, you'll get to know him a little better. Maybe.
I really want to release it.
But yeah, so don't forget, guys, check out our sponsors, manitcrew.com, Manitcrew on IG, Paint Huffer Metal Flake on IG, Paint Huffer Metal Flake, or painthuffer.com, and then obviously Mark, who you just listened to, Texas Performance MC, and all his shit with that. Also, don't forget to at least consider or check out the Danger Dan's MC Shop Tees deal and see about becoming a subscriber to the whole T-shirt of the month club type situation. Get some sweet chopper tees and bike related T-shirts and help support an industry that you're probably going to complain about when it's not there anymore because you didn't buy T-shirts, motherfucker. Check it out.
Damn. Also,
our scene's so dead, man. I'm like, what have you ever done? Oh, I don't fucking do anything. I just buy everything on Amazon.
subscribe to our Patreon,
Yeah, fuck with us.
please. I need food.
I'm drinking, so he needs to cut me out before I get philosophical on you motherfuckers. Love y'all.
Philosophy. Later.